back to the Arcadian. I think we're on our 9th week, quite a few weeks. Last week was Checkmark Invitational, but today's just some good old-fashioned Omega Strikers gameplay. I'm Fem Bison. It's been a while since y'all have seen me, but I'm here again, and I'm joined in the booth by Daffgrass. Daffgrass, say what's up.
I'm here today. I'm pretty excited. I got my nice I don't know how hard this is gonna see. I got my nice MTV fit going on.
Oh
A
yeah,
nice little MTV hoodie for you guys. But I'm excited to see some, gameplay. Like when you think Arcadian, right? It's really that step just above OSAS, but kind of like in, slightly below NASA. So we live in that kind of area. So it's a bunch of up and coming players.
always good for spectators because I feel like sometimes you watch a top level game and it can look very solved, but with this there's always that element of chaos. And people aren't perfect out here, so you get some interesting stuff going on. And I think we're loading up into our first match. I recognize one of the teams, LP Thieves. Daff, would you care to tell me who the other one is?
Yeah, so on this other side we got Tricky 3, Marissa Kilmonk, and Marissa, a player that has definitely been getting a lot of highlight recently in that midfield. A lot of good plays from them on that Kai, on that Juno. The Juno, most notably, what they're known for. But I have to imagine, if you're on the side of, Winter Freezer, Death Gun, Muck, Fine Muck, you got to take away the Juno. Especially on some of these maps, you think of this current map pool that we have in ranked, and it's just a lot of open. Like you have a lot of space to work with on that Inkies, on that Oni village. So the Juno ban might be pretty prevalent here.
Right, yeah, and after that, it's been a long time since the rework, but Juno has been seeing a lot more prevalence since then, which is always fun because you never want to see a character that just gets completely shafted. So I'm excited to see this new up-and-comer place of Juno. It's been a while since I've been involved actively in the scene, so a lot of these faces are going to be new to me. I recognize LP Thieves, of course. They played in NASA against me. And then Tricky, I also recognize. They've been, I think, a long time just standing member of like this sort of skill bracket. Hopefully we'll see them take it home today, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, I'm excited. And you got to think map pick plays a really big part of it. Plus, some of these players have been doing recently. Obviously, they're here. We're in kind of that playoff stage in that double Elam area, so you got one in you. But you definitely want to keep winning. Just keep going forward, and especially I think possibly that goal is I'm not too sure actually about how Winter Freezer has really expanded their pool. I know they obviously were known for that Dubu. I don't necessarily know what they have played. If you do, feel free to hop in here because as far as I know, they are just the Dubu person, and when you are that person on your team, that character gets taken away. It is tough for you to play.
I imagine they've probably picked up an Atlas. I know a lot of Dubu players pick up the Atlas pick as their alternate, myself included, although I also did have a Kai, though. Maybe Kai's not the strongest goalie right now, so maybe we won't be seeing that so much today, at least. However, I do remember Winter Freezer just being a real solid goalie. When we played against LP Thieves, I do think he was one of the scarier members of their team, at least from my memory. Big respect to them. Of course, Death Gun and Fine Muck are no joke either. Death Gun has that scary good scoring sometimes. There are flashes of brilliance here and there. So I'm excited to see what these, sort of NASA veterans, I guess, they definitely come in with the experience advantage, have to show for us today. Their game is just going to keep evolving as well. So,
Yeah, and it really is just kind of this step that we talk about where you're sitting and, getting from that kind of, we're past OSAS, we're sitting in that position below, kind of in NASA, slightly below NASA, and you're really just trying to take it up to that next level and work your way from there. But it's kind of what it is. Bison, also don't forget to hit the ready button.
Oh, have I not hit the ready? That's entirely my bad.
No, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
It's cosmetic, really?
It's cosmetic. That's
okay,
so
I've been told that it's cosmetic. I love this video game that we play. But look, we're on Night Market. It's the first map. Very closed really, you got a lot to work with. Obviously, you see this era hover here, and it does look like that Amy is going to be taken off the board. I have to imagine on the other end, on one of the small map, you're either going to target the goalie, you're going to target that midfield pick, and there it is, that Juno that I talked
Yep.
about, it's gone.
I mean, that's no surprise. As you've been saying, Marissa is the one who draws the ban. However, Era is definitely no joke on this map. I'm speaking from experience, having played with now one of the best Eras, right? I mean, it's been a while since I've been, and since then, I'm pretty sure my former teammate has become one of the best midfielders and Eras in the game. Those tornadoes can be absolutely devastating, especially with how thin those side lanes are sometimes. You're getting caught out, you're losing barriers, you're dying. I mean, it's a big threat.
Yeah, and another big threat here coming out from, the side of LP Thieves, that Asher plus Kai, this is going to be a really difficult combo. It's very tricky to deal with. You get it past that Asher, you try and go to the other side. The Kai might just be right there with that barrage, with that Giga Blast, ready to steal your barrier. And here are starting awakenings. We have Demolitionist and Spark of Agility. So Demolitionist, if you don't know, cooldowns reduced by 8 seconds. Plus you get a little bit of size when you do pop those barriers. So it's going to be a very prevalent factor in this game, taken by essentially both forwards for both teams.
I mean, absolutely. And now, starting off the match, LP Thieves already going to go down a barrier, but I mean, on 2 barrier maps, you're not usually too worried about losing the one. So both teams holding on strong here. Tricky still playing that solid defense, always been a good goalie, and now the offensive there for Marissa kills Tricky. Can't quite seem to find it though, as LP Thieves just hold on strong.
Yeah, and another important thing to note, as Killmock finds a great kill with that Pummler, is a little bit of help from that 25% size, is that Demolitionist is currently slightly bugged, where sometimes you'll magically get 16 seconds instead of the 8 seconds, and sometimes you'll even get 24 full seconds off. So for characters like Asher with that long, that really long timer on that pass splitter, could be very valuable for the side of LP Thieves.
I mean, absolutely. Not to mention, the Era Magical Maelstrom, long cooldown as well, and that thing takes barriers so often on this map. You might just see it happen that Marissa's able to spam those out, but what a great flip save from Tricky against Fine Muck's barrage, manages to hold it down, still in a bit of a dangerous spot as LP Thieves presses this offense, but Killmonk finds another kill, burns the flip for it. We'll see if they can convert this into another barrier and finally open that goal. They do, and now they're in scoring position, but a great strike war from Winter Freezer to save it and stall it out.
Yeah, and Winter Freezer, excellent job just to keep his barrier alive here. Does have to be a little bit careful here, but drops a nice 2 for Fortress and sends it up to the top side. But Killmock, he's doing such a great job of getting the barriers, but he's also taking a ton of damage for it on the other end.
I mean, taking damage is one thing, but he's also finding the kills, right? Killmonk has not died once this match, but he's killed 2 people already in the first point. But as I say it, the first point has been scored. What a great capitalization by Deathgun there, catching that off the rebound, winning that strike war to give LP Thieves a 1-0 advantage. But, continuing on about Killmonk, I mean, unless LP Thieves is punishing that damage they're dealing to him, then it's not going to matter too much.
Yeah, and Killmonk, as he said, he just got to make double right there. And just absolutely, sat in Winter Freezer's face, dropped that flurry, has it up again, but, it is so hard to stop this Julie with Demolitionist. She gets one barrier, and then all of a sudden she has her cooldowns up just to take your other one, and you have to fight for your life.
Absolutely, and speaking of cooldowns, many were just burned in attempting to kill Killmonk, but it doesn't matter since LP Thieves finally finds that open barrier, and Fine-Mucked, what a dribble into Barrage, just slips it through Tricky. Not much they could have done right there. Great point scored.
Yeah, and this is the difference in comps here. When you do play that Kai against that Era plus that Asher, the Asher and Kai are able to press a little harder in that midfield. So when Fine Monk and Deathgun do get it past Marissa just can't do too much against the combination of them. So Killmonk really has to look for these kills as he's been finding all game, especially on the Fine Monk, just to give his team a little bit of reprieve on the other side.
And speaking of Fine Monk, he takes yet another barrier. First one's going to go down for the side of Marissa, kills Tricky, but they'll take one back with a good flip from Killmonk. Now both teams down to just one barrier. Winter Freezer, however, with that flip, going to be able to hold on for quite a while if they can't force it out of him. And Deathgun instead just going to dribble it down, take it from the underside. Gold open for Marissa, kills Tricky, and now they're just on the back foot once again.
Yeah, and the problem here, you just don't have any chip, but That's what you need from Killmock. You need Killmock to find those picks, especially on Defined Muck, because now all of a sudden you have this control in the midfield. That Magic Maelstrom comes through, but it doesn't matter. Winter Freezer's going to flip this one, send it to Death Gun, and sends us to our first draft.
And right there, I mean, not much Atlas could have done. Bit of a slow character, not much mobility. Great shot placement from Death Gun to take advantage of that and walk us through this draft.
Yeah, and so big ones here, obviously, you know, you got that Timeless Creator, you got that Twin Drive for Atlas, but I have to imagine if you are this Dubu or this Kai, you are going to want to take it away as this Dubu takes Hot Shot. And I have to imagine this is where we, you know, take the Twin Drive or Cast. You can opt into both. Maybe they're thinking, okay, we've gotten it past this Atlas, we can get it past them again, but the Era just has Chrono Boost to take anyways. So I personally would have liked to see the deny for the Atlas. Just take that Twin Drive. Era's going to get Chrono Boost or Cast anyways. So you're going to have to deal with one thing or the other.
Yeah. I'm surprised, actually, that Winter Freezer opted for Hot Shot over that Spark of Resilience. I mean, they already have one. They're going to need a little bit more speed. It looks like they're struggling to keep up that, even with both Momentum Boost and Agility. Though, of course, Hot Shot definitely not bad for Dubu. Those specials can fire a red core straight at the enemy barrier, take it. But as I'm saying, Killmonger instead finds a barrier and a goal so quickly. Just great strike placement there. Didn't even need to dash punch it again, despite the demolitions.
Yeah, and just a nice little shot placement there. That demo, really just the size helping so much. Now Killmonger doesn't have to worry about so much about that damage. Has the option of speccing into something like Bulk Up or Reverb later in the set, but Killmonger just add an absolute warrior on these barriers this round. Something has changed, and, you know, maybe I wouldn't say it's that 450 spark or stagger that he got. He's just playing so much better.
I mean, yeah, no, he really is just playing better. Because earlier the damage wasn't really mattering anyway. And now some great defense from Marissa and Tricky managing to avoid the McDouble there. And maybe even hold both. Great flip there. Killmonger now with their own flip and another great shot placement. I mean, Killmonger's just firing up.
Yeah, and I'd like to think, you know, if you don't give that Atlas that Twin Drive, these goals become so much easier because you were getting it past them before already, but now it's becoming a bit of a struggle as Marissa just absolutely sitting and shrinking Death Gun, forced to trick it there with a nice little pass into his own barrier, but it's okay because Killmonger on this other side is just doing so much work.
Can't quite find the barrier, but does instead find Mucked off the side of the map, and now they're pressing this 3v2 advantage, looking for the power play opportunity. But what a great flip from Death Gun, steals it from Tricky, and Tricky just can't reset that strike cooldown fast enough to hit it back. But instead, it's going to be Killmonger and Marissa returning the favor, taking both barriers. The goal is now open on the side of LP Thieves, and they're the ones in danger all of a sudden.
Yeah, and Tricky 3 doing a nice job there, walking up, dropping that expanse, not letting side of LP Thieves get a big, you know, kind of setup gameplay going. And oh my god, Killmonger almost getting it past Winter Freezer. You have to imagine a little bit of nerves there on that flop, but luckily it didn't go in.
Absolutely, and now that flip burned out from Winter Freezer. Dubu kind of on his last legs here as he's got to hold it down against Killmonger. But Killmonger misses the dash punch, and Winter Freezer's able to just clear it out at the bottom.
Yeah, and now Death Gun here on this top side. The flip bird from Tricky, but Tricky sends it right into the center. Almost got himself back there with that, you know, Asher Path Splitter. Has to be careful here as now Killmonger with this ult is just going to stun Winter Freezer, send it right through, and send us right into our next carousel.
I mean, Killmonger absolutely spectacular on that set right there. Not to mention that Twin Drive and Tricky, Twin Drive helping Tricky play better defense, but Tricky also just playing better defense, able to hold it down longer, give Killmonger all those opportunities that they want. And now Fight or Flight on the board, but instead they're going to offer the 1-2 punch. Either way, it's going to give them quite a few KO opportunities, which they've been finding pretty consistently. So if I'm LP Thieves right now, I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, and that big fish denial just from the Asher, you don't really want to give her that, you know, 50% size increase. But on the other hand, you know, she is going to get a consolation prize in Egoist. If, you know, Death Gun is able to sit, build up this flip, he will be a menace, especially with that Demolitionist plus Timeless Creator. He is just going to be dropping pass splitters left and right.
Absolutely, not to mention just the threat of the flip once again. I mean, we saw what he did with it last round, stealing that core from Tricky with the flip. But now Death Gun looking to steal Tricky's barriers, manages to take one, can't find the other, and Killmonger instead going to find both on the other side of the map. Marissa just trying to force this core through the midfield, but find Muck holding on well, making sure that Killmonger doesn't get those opportunities that they want.
Yeah, and now here Killmonger on this top side, but Winter Freezer with an excellent Tofu Fortress, just keeping that one away. Feinmonk is trying to, find anything, living up to their name here, but they just can't. This defense is so good, but now Death Gun here with that Egoist sends it right into the Expanse. Excellent job from Tricky, just holding on, keeping it together, but Killmonger on this other side is just going to send that one right through.
I mean, absolutely spectacular there. I think that was just barely out of Feinmonk's strike range. It looked like he could have hit it, but I don't think he could have. I mean, Killmonk with the shot placement this game has been kind of phenomenal.
Yeah, and Killmonger doing such a great job, even though his team went down that first set, they've brought it back, they've brought it together, they've kept themselves in check. Does have the flip here, they are absolutely just barrier-taking machines.
Absolutely, barrier-taking machines is a great way to put it, a demolitionist, if you will. And now, just with the flip, it's so easy. Not much Dubu can do there. The Summer Assault is not going to be fast enough. And Killmonk is up, he's putting his team up 2-0 against LPPs, the veterans, the NASA veterans, in this game.
Yeah, and, it definitely is hard, right? You think about it, okay, we're kind of putting ourselves together, but I can't even finish my sentence before Killmonger managing to find another pick. And that's the power of the 1-2 punch. He's got the 25% size, he's got that 1-2 punch, the pummelers, and is just absolutely able to find these picks on the side.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's been paying off, though. This one actually is surprisingly reversed by LPPs as they managed to take a barrier of their own while down a player. And now Winter Freezer with the flip opts not to use it on that barrier. I would have done the same. And the flip comes out here finally to make sure he doesn't lose another one. Now Death Gun, all they have to do, put it right in that top corner. And finally, Marissa kills Tricky, is back on the back foot after Killmonk has been on a tear.
And Death Gun being so obnoxious here, but is going to get knocked off the map by Killmonk. Killmonk finding that kill there, finding that barrier, does now have the flip here to work with as Feinmonk here on this bottom side. Gets hit by the Expanse. Now it's Killmonk's turn. Back on the other end, drops the flip and sends it right through the both of them, sending us to our potential last carousel here as Killmonk making some excellent plays here in this third set.
Yeah, Killmonk absolutely putting a name for themselves into the history books right now in this Arcadian match. They're playing absolutely phenomenal. I think they've got some good options. That Knife's Edge, sorry, I got that mixed up with Fight or Flight last draft. That Knife's Edge gives them some extra KO power. The bulk up as well, especially with that 450 stagger from the Spark of Resilience. That scaling is going to be pretty good, something like 30 power. And interesting deny from the era for the Asher, but it does make sense. Once again, you don't want to find that 50% size.
Yeah, and that Asher with this Knife Edge is going to be able to run on that side a little more, just a little faster, and just do a slightly more damage. That Juliet does get 41 power. That is 2 prize fighter stacks for, I guess obviously you have to pick up the Spark of Resilience, you have to pick up the bulk up, but that's not bad.
No, it certainly isn't. Not to mention that they're going to have a hard time killing Killmonk now with all that health. But they don't seem to be having a hard time to take those barriers as they open it up for themselves. Death Gun and Feinmonk looking for whatever opportunity they can to actually push this offense. But it's not going to matter as Marissa and Killmonk actually just force it right through instantly. I couldn't even see what happened.
Yeah, and Killmonk with Marissa, this combo is just so strong. Yeah. Marissa dropping, that Bewitching Beam onto Killmonk, making him even bigger than he already is. It is so difficult to stop, especially with that Demolitionist. He just gets his cooldowns back as soon as he grabs one barrier.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And there is something to be said there about the way Marissa is playing this. Instead of using the, as I say, I mean, Killmonk once again truly living up to their name, finding these kills all over the place. But Marissa isn't really using the magical maelstroms. I think they've kind of realized that if they can give Killmonk size with all that power and speed that this Julie has, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, and I was honestly incredibly shocked there as Killmonk killing from, living up to the name of Killmonk.
Yeah.
I dying from, where I would expect somebody to die in beta from. You don't really see it that often, but this Juliet pick here is just absolutely making it happen on the field. So powerful and so oppressive.
Oppressive is the right word for it, and now, I mean, LPPs can't even find an opportunity to take a barrier, let alone score a goal. Killmonk just sitting up there waiting for a chance, but finally Feinmonk looks like he has an offensive opportunity, trying to force it through with Death Gun. A great expanse by Tricky, holds the barrier for a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. But it's not going to matter. As soon as it's cleared, Killmonk just sends it right through the top pocket. It's 2-0 up again.
Yeah, and not even needing the 1-2 punch speed there, bulk up, giving that power, that was enough. In overtime, you know, even just with that slight 40 power, it was enough to send that core. Light speed doesn't even need the 1-2 punch.
Absolutely, and I mean this match honestly going not the way I thought it would. I thought LP Thieves would actually have the advantage here just with the experience, but clearly I have not been watching enough of Marissa Kills Tricky as they're putting on a show right now. Killmonk finds another kill on FindMuck. FindMuck seeming instead of being the one doing the finding is the one found, and now Deathgun experiencing their own death as they go off the edge as well. This power play opportunity continued. Finally, they opened up this goal, and there's not much Winter Diffuser can do as that Julie special just hits it through.
Yeah, Juliet, an absolute powerhouse in this game. Killmonk has, brought the circus to town, and we are all spectators of this spectacle that's going on the field here. What an absolutely outstanding performance. Just sat, we could talk about the kills. Look at these kills. Eight of them. Not bad
goals.
Yeah, not bad considering you're playing against an Asher, a character who's notoriously difficult to kill, especially on a map like this where they're just going to be sitting up front. But Killmonk found those kills, made the damage happen. 9 goals, absolutely deserved.
Absolutely, and something has to be said about the defense, both from Tricky and Marissa, making sure FindMuck and Deathgun couldn't capitalize off those opportunities that they were able to find. I mean, there was quite a few times there it looked really scary, especially with FindMuck in that bottom corner after that first set when he had that great goal with the barrage. But Tricky and Marissa were able to tighten up, realize what needed to happen, and they held it down, giving Killmonk so many more opportunities to get these barriers and goals as well.
Yeah, and again, you'd like to think maybe if they had a redo, they would deny that twin drive, because that really gave so much pressure for Tricky to be able to walk up, drop the expanse, keep the core forward, give it to Era, and just absolutely shove, all of that fight to the right side of the field.
I mean, absolutely. It's already hard enough to get through Expanse as is, but when Atlas is walking up, dropping massive expanses in your face, it just becomes even more of a problem, especially when you're trying to fight it through the midfield with a comp that's strong in the midfield. But that's like disrupting to your game plan. It's very good at countering it. So LP Thieves, they're struggling a little bit because they can't... Forcing it through Marissa is one thing, but forcing it through an Atlas who's just spamming Expanse in the middle of the map, not much you can do.
Yeah, and second thought too, maybe you stick FindMuck maybe on something more like the Estelle. Maybe get him on that Estelle to be able just to give, Deathgun a bit of help. Because Deathgun making it way over, he was sitting on the Atlas, he was pressuring the Atlas, but he just wasn't able to get it through both those expanses, that astral projection. It was just too much for him to do by himself. And Kai, not necessarily a bad character, but you'd like to think if you're picking the Kai, you want him to stay back a little, you want him to be able to catch some of those rebounds. He doesn't really have too much to get into the action, but Estelle can do both. This has that blink for the reposition to catch the cores, has the knives to get the barriers, has the piercing shot, and it could be a bit of a switch up.
Absolutely. Not to mention that Estelle, I mean, even at the tippity top level, is just an incredibly tricky character to deal with. So I think, just from my experience, I think she finds a lot of success right around this skill level where people are good enough to pilot her well, but then the enemy is still trying to figure out all those tricks she's got. I mean, she's got quite a few of them. The matchup can be tough for a lot of, developing goalies. So just, a bit of a metagame factor there as well.
Yeah, and it's really just the idea that when you do play these types of comps, you rely so much on your midfielder to be able to get it forward for you. When you are playing that Asher that sits forward, sits on the goalie, pressures to get the barriers, you don't want to give the goalie cooldowns, you don't want to let the goalie have really anything that lets them kind of, I would like to say, outpace the Asher, because Deathgun didn't really get anything that game. They had the demo, and that was about it.
Right. Those drafts were not super helpful for him. There was a couple. He was playing well, but against that Twin Drive Atlas, when you're not drafting well as Asher, it can be so hard. You don't have anything to force him away from the situation. You don't have anything to force the core through. And now, let's take a look at our next match, actually, between Quest Esports and Marissa Kills Tricky. I mean, there's a lot of things to be said about this. We just saw Marissa Kills Tricky tear through a NASA team, but here's one of the scarier NASA teams, actually, Quest Esports. I mean, they've played in many tournaments outside of just NASA as well. Played quite a few weeklies, taken some very good teams to final sets or even won over them. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, and in this matchup, when you look at the forward players, you got Switch, you got Killmock, both of them, probably going to opt into this Juliet gameplay. Switch, a known Juliet lover, Killmock obviously played that Juliet and popped off last game. So I have to imagine that we're not going to be seeing any Juliet bans. We're going to keep it pretty simple. We're probably going to keep it pretty simple in that midfield pick. Obviously, we saw the Era last game. Maybe this game we might see a Kai. Hamster, known for playing that Estelle. He can play really a wide variety of characters.
Yeah, Hamster's versatile.
Yeah, the Hamster is very versatile. And then that goalie matchup, obviously we saw the Atlas from Tricky. I honestly have no idea what we're going to see from Toasty. I think Toasty is a very versatile player as well, so I'm pretty excited.
Not to mention, Toasty's also just weird about his picks sometimes. He doesn't always pick based strictly around the meta. He picks on what he's feeling. Sometimes, maybe we'll see him conform today, maybe we won't. But definitely it'll be a surprise to see the goalie matchup. I'm surprised actually that even though Dubu was never mind, they got him confused. Tricky and Winter Freezer plays Dubu. I have never seen Tricky actually play Dubu. I was about to say, but I am curious to see what Toasty and Hamster have in store for us today. And it's so interesting because their comp can really fit so many different maps with those versatile goalie and midfielder. I mean, Juliet is also one of the more versatile scorers. She can play on pretty much anything. So I think there's an advantage there with just having players that can pick whatever they want. And Night Market is going to be the map again, actually, the seemingly popular after the changes to the custom lobbies.
Yeah, and we just saw this map, so we're seeing it here again. And now, Marissa kills Tricky. Going to be very comfortable here as they just played on this map. They just took a nice W. They lost that first set, but then they came back. They stabilized a little bit with good drafts, good awakenings, and just absolutely shoved it forward. And no ban coming out of the side of, Quest Esports here. I'd like to think it was a strategic choice. 99% of the time, it's probably just that they forgot, and it happens. But that is going to allow Marissa to pick up this Juno here, which I'm not too sure if it was necessarily the best time to forget, as now Marissa on that signature pick. Everybody on the side of Marissa Kills Tricky is going to get exactly what they want, and Hamster on this other end is going to be forced off the Estelle, forced off as something that is necessarily super comfort, but maybe you think that it's been banned once or twice already in tournament today, so he's comfortable off of it, and we are going to see that Era pickup come out from him.
I think on this map, I'm more scared of Quest comp right now. I mean, you were talking about, Tricky walking up with the Expanse, but Dubu walk up with a Tofu Fortress is even more powerful offensively, especially on this map. Not to mention, Hamster definitely uses those spirals, even if Marissa won't, though Marissa's more of a Juno player, obviously. So I do think Quest has a bit of a scary comp here, and now taking a look at the starting Awakenings, we have Fight or Flight and Peak Performance. Interesting stuff there. A lot of speed in this match.
Yeah, and when we talk about speed, we have that Era, we have the Flutterfly, all of the Era-related fun awakenings that they're going to be able to pick up that no one in this game can really match. Like, you think about it, who is denying stuff from Era? You're going to force your Atlas to do it? Because that might just be what you're going to have to do in this match. So Hamster Quest definitely has free reign on a lot of stuff here.
And I mean, as I was talking about the offense, Toasty Local finds the kill, which also passes the court to Switch, who finds the pass to Hamster Quest. I mean, some textbook play right there, coordinating that for the score, and also just picking up some extra XP. Now, Marissa kills Tricky, finding some challenges against Quest Esports after that tear.
And important to note, Switch actually opting instead into taking that peak performance, not wanting to go that fight or flight, which is going to allow him to scale a bit more with stagger, maybe take that bulk up, maybe take that reverb, maybe get a nice little spark of resilience somewhere in there. And on the other hand, it's going to be a little more annoying for Killmock to deny that, since they just don't have that base peak performance starting.
Absolutely. I do think Fight or Flight does kind of neuter your options a little bit in terms of drafting when compared to Peak Performance, even if Peak Performance isn't the most insane reward from the jump. But it doesn't seem to matter, as Switch, with just a little bit of speed, is absolutely cooking. Manages to take one barrier and finally finds the second with a flip. And now, once again, Marissa kills Tricky on their back foot. And what a dash punch triple shot. Not quite sure what happens there, but it looks like they dash struck it and then punched it in. Incredible stuff there from Switch, showing the Julie tech off.
Yeah, and Switch, you're giving the guy his best character, but you don't necessarily want to deny your team their best character as well. So it's a bit of a balancing act. Just in those bans, obviously they went for that Estelle instead, but it could be coming back to bite him. Maybe you could have thrown him off just a slight bit. Maybe put Killmonk on something that if they had a secondary pick, they could have felt comfortable with. Because Switch has looked absolutely phenomenal in this game so far.
I mean, absolutely phenomenal is the best way to describe that, and unfortunately, Toasty Local just going to find it around Tricky there. Finally opens the goal up again for Marissa kills Tricky, and now one more time, Quest just looking to press this advantage. No Maelstrom from Hamster Quest, thinks he's used it, but the pressure is still there. They're just rotating it around this midfield so effortlessly, finding opportunities all over the place. And Killmonk looking for a dash punch there to try and force it through Toasty Local, but can't quite find the angle he needs. Now, once again, Hamster just in control of the core.
Yeah, and Switch just putting so much pressure on Tricky. Tricky having the flip here, along with Toasty Local, Hamster building his as well. And most people in this game are actually about to get their flips. Important time for, you know, the side of Mercy kills Tricky, because they're really going to need to get them. That's 2 flips burned there. Now Switch with the core here, sends it down. Tricky forced to flip, sends it the entire other side of the map, and we're still in this set.
Absolutely. Hamster still has a flip of their own, though, and just as I say it, they fire through the middle, looking to get a patch to Switch, but just a little bit too far forward, and Tricky's able to hold it down. And now Hamster's staggered. And I mean, Killmonk, it's in the name, right? He's going to be hunting for those kills. Can't quite find it. What a great wall from Toasty, actually. I'm pretty sure Hamster Quest just bounced off the final bowl of the Tofu Fortress to survive there. And Killmonk can't quite find the reward they were looking for.
Yeah, and Toasty actually managing to save his teammate, but Hamster, unfortunately, just aiming that one just a little bit off, hitting that top corner instead of that wide open top part of the net. And there's that Magic Maelstrom coming forward. You're going to want to have Hamster play around some of these Maelstroms, throw off the Atlas, throw them out of the way, and just allow Switch to punch it through. But as I say that, Switch, a nice little dribble up to himself, dash punch through, and sends us to our first carousel in this game.
Great play there from Quest. Exactly what you'd expect from one of the top teams within NASA. Finding the kills, playing with interesting ability interaction, showing off the tech. I mean, both Switch and Toasty, right? And now Toasty rewarded for his great defense there with a first pick. I'll also take the Demolitionist. I'm surprised. It's not like he's finding the barriers, but maybe trying to deny Killmonk after seeing what they did last time.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to give this Julie that demo, especially when you think, okay, well, I could let it fall down to Hamster, but when Toasty looks at the board, there's nothing really great for him to take. There's nothing really that he wants too much, so he can just deny that demo away from Killmonk, let Hamster pick up that prime time, which is going to allow Hamster just to put so much pressure on Marissa and on Tricky and really just take Killmonk out of the game.
And not just take Killmonk out of the game. Don't know if you saw there, but it was the Tofu Fortress taking the barrier, meaning that Toasty Local is looking to put that Demolitionist to use, trying to get as offensive as he can. And this is what I was talking about, right? That Tofu Fortress on offense. And speaking of offense, I'm talking too much. Hamster Quest finds a great pass to Switch, who just puts it in the top pocket. That point went by so fast for Quest, and definitely because of Toasty being able to just steamroll that offense from the start.
Yeah, and Killmonk picking up that prize fighter that last draft, but it's just not going to matter. He's been shrunk the entire game. Hamster's been moving around him. Switch has been playing in good positions not to get dash punched off the map. So we talked about it last game. If Killmonk needs to find these kills, and if he can't, then there's really no point in him picking this type of Julie play.
Absolutely, he can't quite seem to find them either, and now he's taking more damage than he wants to. Finally, though, they find a barrier on the side of Quest Esports, but it's immediately returned. Great offense there, and the flip is forced out from Tricky. What a great strike by Switch. Now Toasty just holding it down comfortably. There's just not enough pressure from the side of Marissa kills Tricky, and as I say, Killmonk finally showing us what he can do. Takes Hamster Quest off the map and opens up the goal of Quest. This could be their first goal of the game.
Yeah, when you do get that one kill, the next one becomes easier with that prize fighter up to 40 power now. One more and we'll be at the max 60, but Switch here in the corner does have the flip. Hamster past the Switch. Switch sends it forward. Magic Maelstrom, Slime, 20 million things in front of the net, stopping it, but Tricky somehow managing to keep it out of the net, but Hamster, a nice little bewitching beam into that top shelf.
Yeah, I think there was just a little too much pressure there down that player. They couldn't hold as long as they wanted to. Great defense from the side of Marissa kills Tricky there, though. There was so many things flying at them, but they were able to keep calm and keep it out of the net for as long as they humanly could have. So something to be said about that. And now Killmonk finally turning up, just snipes the core with a dash punch. Toasty Local takes that top barrier. Marissa uses that Juno jump to keep this offense rolling, but finally Switch manages to get out in front of the core, take some offense of his own. The punch comes out, can't quite seem to find anything, but the Strike War is instead going to take that top barrier. Now Killmonk looking low again. He has to be a little careful.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. This is what you want to see from your era. You want to see your era control that midfield with that, those slicks, that fight or flight, and then just absolutely send those maelstroms forward, throwing the enemy off, shrinking them with that bewitching beam, just playing a nice little support role for Switch to be able to take over the game.
Absolutely, and now Hamster Quest low, almost dead, but instead manages to keep this offense going. Still not quite cracked yet, nobody looking to do it. Instead, Marissa kills Tricky is going to look to find this barrier, and what a great jump strike war from Marissa, showing off that Juno tech, the one trick indeed. And now great pass and dribble from Killmonk, finds that goal with the dash punch, and finally Marissa kills Tricky is on the board.
Yeah, and it's 1 point that you're going to need eventually, so better to start here, start getting it now, get yourself a little bit back into this game. But Switch on the top side is just a monster in that, taking barriers, getting buffed by Hamster Quest. It's so hard to get it past him, and Tricky really needs to just try and fight for his life in this net here.
And fight for his life. They do. Great expanse there. Manages to beat out the flip. Well timed there. Instead, though, Marissa's going to go down. Switch finds the kill. And now another power play opportunity from Quest. The Atlas Astral Projection manages to save one, but the flip is going to come through from Toasty, and Switch is just going to finish the job. And now they're up 2.
I'm sorry.
Now they're up 2-0, taking that set quickly 3-1. But Marissa kills Tricky, seeming to sort of tighten up a little bit. We'll see if they can continue off of this draft into the next set.
Yeah, and Toasty there with a nice hold, just waiting out some abilities, sending it down, passing to Switch, just letting Switch do that. Nice little extra work, but here's a nice reward for Killmonk, getting that quick strikes, getting that fighter. He does have the fighter flight, no slick kicks, but it is also a nice deny on the back end for Hamster Quest. But Hamster Quest doesn't care. He's going to get a consolation prize and chrono boost, and at that point, is the spark scaling really worth it when now you got to deal with a primetime chrono boost plus that slick kicks fighter flight era? When they shrink you, when they pop that speed, how are you catching up to them?
Yeah, she's going to be far too fast. I mean, just look at Hamster Quest go now already. Both playing off the speed buff and playing around his own speed cooldowns. Quickly, Quest has turned up the pace and found that first barrier. Something else to note that's interesting about that draft, actually surprised Switch didn't opt for the reverb for that flat CDR, instead opted for Perfect Form, which does have the potential to give more, especially with Julie's insane multi-hit. So no fault of their own there, opting not for the speed instead. And Tricky actually just, unfortunately, a little bit too slow with that strike cooldown, caught him off guard, and that core is going to go right through the bottom pocket from Hamster Quest.
Yeah, and just a nice little master class there from Hamster in this midfield. Again, just so fast and doing such a great job, as we see there, buffing Switch, choosing not to shrink the enemies, but instead to buff his own Julie just to allow for a little bit of damage. But that's what you want to see from Killmonk, yet another kill onto Hamster Quest.
Yeah. Now looking to convert this power play opportunity, throws out the Julie special trying to get it through Toasty, but Toasty just holds on well, is strike wearing well, and manages to rotate it around the offense of Marissa kills Tricky, stalling out for Hamster Quest to come back online. And it's as we said, Hamster Quest is just so fast, hit that spacebar, immediately was able to chase his own strike down. Not too often you can do that. And now Toasty local with the Tofu Fortress, as I was saying at the start of this match, that's going to be a big advantage for Dubu in this matchup. Instead, even though they're down a player, they're just going to be able to hold on fine. There's just not enough pressure, not enough cooldowns from the side of Marissa kills Tricky.
Yeah, and a bit of a punishment there for Switch, playing on that bottom side, as he did get dash punched off the edge, and Killmonk going to use his flip to get a nice little barrier there on the bottom, as Switch is just trying to end this game. He is saying, hey, I want to go to the next one, let me out. I am sitting in front of this Atlas, and nice little Tofu Fortress with a little bit of help from Hamster Quest is going to make that one happen.
Looks like Toasty also wants to put this to an end, and now they're on match point for the side of Quest Esports. 2-0 up and 2-0 in sets. I mean, Marissa kills Tricky have been having a rough one of it this match. Killmonk almost goes down, but the Atlas Celestial Intervention, not needed there, manages to hold on, barely saving their own lives. And now the pressure is on for Marissa kills Tricky again. Great expanse from Tricky, just trying to hold on. The pressure is strong though. Hamster Quest and Switch with that great offense as we've seen before, and now Switch with a flip. Now Tricky is surprisingly not quite yet forced to burn that flip, and finally does, but finds the clear and great defense there.
Yeah, you would have hoped that maybe you're going to get lucky there on one of those bounces, get that barrier, as you really need to start putting the pressure now. You're still down. You don't have a single point in this set. You just need something going for you here.
Something going for you indeed, as Killmonk and Marissa finally find that barrier. The Slimes pairing up with that punch to outstrike for Toasty Local. And now Hamster Quest forced to burn the flip, but what a snipe from Killmonk, man. Just steal it away. Keep that offense going even if it doesn't go through. And now finally Marissa kills Tricky, looking for their own offense, but the defense is just too good from Hamster Quest and Toasty Local.
And Hamster playing back, helping Toasty out just a little bit, as now Expanse burned for Tricky. Switch, dropping that Flame Flurry, getting the barrier. Absolutely what he needs in this game. Goal open for this Atlas, and now Switch sending it directly into the Atlas. Actually had a little bit of a chance there to dribble that one. Tries to do a bit of dribbling. Fortunately, is cooking a little too hard for his own good, as now a nice little dash punch in.
That was great from Killmonk and Marissa there, playing off those weird bounces well, dribbling, setting up the shot. Something that you said, as you noted, Switch opted not to do, and that could have cost them that point right there. And I mean, if they managed to make this comeback, Marissa kills Tricky, I mean, it could have cost them the game. But it doesn't, as I say it, it does not look good for them on this point either, as Marissa with a great flip managed to take both barriers, and now Killmonk with a flip of their own. I mean, this is dangerous. It all starts with just 1 point, one set.
Yeah, and everything starts with that one, and now both barriers open for both teams. Toasty Local passing this one up to Switch here, just trying to get it forward, trying to get it through. And now Switch with that dash punch misses the core, doesn't manage to get it, and the Magic Maelstrom just being dropped a little too early for my liking. I feel like Hamster can be holding these just a little longer, just to shove people out of the way, trying to get the core more towards Switch.
Absolutely. But they can't seem to find it to Switch. Killmonk just marking Hamster Quest, sitting on top of him, making sure they can't get those cores, sets up a dash punch and hits it right through Toasty. Seems Killmonk has found a bit of a strategy here, just something to force Hamster Quest off that defense, cutting off any play they can give to Switch.
Yeah, and Hamster really needs to start holding some of these Maelstroms just a little bit longer, and there it is, because look what happens when he holds it. He gets a large amount, of area just to be able to pass the Switch, get it up to him, get it past this Juno who's just sitting in this midfield. Marissa absolutely has their number out for him, but there's Switch with a nice little double barrier, 1-2, grabs them both, and now they have the advantage. They have the goal open, they just need to put it in.
I mean, put it in and they'll win the match. Killmonk almost goes off the map as well. I mean, they're just trying to hold on tight here, trying to buy themselves one more set. And it looks like they might, but as I say that, Killmonk goes down, and Hamster Quest just too fast to be stopped. Races through that top lane. Switch finds the pass and just puts it in the top pocket. Quest Esports clearing this out 3-0 in sets. Great play from them. Shout out to Marissa kills Tricky. Almost find that comeback, but Quest Esports tightens up right at the end there.
Yeah, Hamster Quest with that goal is going to send them into the grand finals. And really just, look, 148 redirects, 47 shots. Hamster was everywhere on the map with that chrono boost, with that prime time, had so much to really work with on the map. And unfortunately, Marissa just not able to match that on that Juno pick, because again, who's there to take the stuff from Era? When you think about it, the chrono boost, that cast to last that's going to pop up, only Tricky really can take it away.
I mean, yeah, and even with Tricky taking it away, it's not exactly optimal for Tricky either, right? Those Arrow Awakenings are not exactly amazing for Atlas, even if they'll function semi-decently. And something else to note there, I do think, I'm surprised Marissa opted for the Juno there. I mean, the Arrow works so well in the last round, even if Juno's, not banned. I mean, we saw what Hamster was able to do with that extra speed, with those Maelstroms, with those beams, just able to hold on well against, a brawler character. She can just debuff that for defense. The Maelstroms are clearing out space, as you said, towards the end. They're just holding those, giving so much more offensive opportunity to Quest. I'm kind of surprised at the pick from Marissa, even though they're, known Juno main.
Yeah, and you know what? Even at the end of the day, they made themselves up into winners finals, are going to go down to that losers finals, going to sit there for a little bit. But you got to think, we just played against the NASA team. one of the better NASA teams and put up a decent fight, right? They got 3 goals, and for being thrown together and starting to work together and not really having that long-standing experience that Quest Esports has built over the entire course of a NASA season, plus what they had to do before to qualify, it really just kind of bolsters them and gives them hopefully some confidence that they'll be able to win that losers finals match, get that run back, and try and do something a little different in this game.
Absolutely. Not to mention, they actually beat the team that took Quest out of NASA qualification. If you don't remember, I think it was Launchpad, no, Liftoff. Quest went against LP Thieves and lost. And I mean, this pickup team right here just went and tore through LP Thieves. So there has to be something to be said about that as well. I mean, it's not like LP Thieves is a bad NASA team. They're pretty good themselves. A lot of potential from these newcomers. I'm glad to see them. And I'm hopefully they actually win through losers and make it to grands. That would be an interesting rematch in my opinion.
Yeah, and you know, when you do sit in that losers finals and then you win and then you get back to the grand finals and you're playing that team that you already played once, you had the chance, you got the read on them, you knew kind of what their strategies are. It's just a nice, and think about it, it would be the 3rd time that those teams would be playing. They played once in that ladder, they played a 2nd time that we just watched here, so a 3rd time maybe might be what Marissa Kills Tricky needs to kind of just get a little bit of a better read on the team.
I mean, absolutely. Who knows? We'll see later on as teams come up to play against them in losers finals. I mean, they've got a couple of matches to wait for, so you know maybe they can also get a mental reset, get some food. I mean, it's kind of late if they haven't eaten already. Instead, now what we're looking at, I think, is I don't even know how you pronounce this name. It's just an emoji, and the other team is Only Bad Players. Interesting team names. Do you know what that emoji is? Is that like a weird burger?
I have no idea, and I would not be able to tell you.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess we can call them Team Emoji when referring to them, but Only Bad Players consisting of, looking at it, Jewish, Asian, Retry CX, and Mr. Incredible. Mr. Incredible actually kind of the homie, shout him out. Great Estelle player. We'll see if that gets banned out. And, you know, speaking of Junos, you had Marissa, now we have Cakes. I mean, Cakes has been, one of the Juno goalies since release. I mean, they may not be the best. Of course, Lily Bun, absolute monster on that pick. But Cakes certainly no slouch and, you know, known streamer as well. Constantly streaming, constantly contributing to the community. So, you know, familiar face there.
Yeah, and Cakes, my favorite LP farm. I'm here rooting for him today. He's gonna be able to get to play. You know, Cakes is our known lovable solo queue Juno goalie player who always gets kidnapped to East servers, and now he's gonna be able to play on Central. So having that ping buff, being able to, you know, not have to fight God's hardest battle on something like 90 ping plus is going to be pretty beneficial for him, and hopefully will allow his team to put a bit of you know, just kind of grip hold on this game.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we are about to witness the new era of Cakes. Cakes released, unchained, no longer bound by, as you said, that 90 ping. However, I mean, his foes are not like slouches. Jewish, Asian, known OSAS player, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Incredible, I scrimmed with quite a few times. I scrimmed with when I almost came back to playing, though. Something's happened with that. But they were able to score on like good players, able to win in midfield against, you know, my former teammate. Incredible good midfielder there. They were able to hold their own. Mr. Incredible is absolutely no joke. I'm not super familiar with the other 2 teammates they have, but I don't doubt that they're pretty solid themselves. So I'm curious to see if this solo queue stream veteran can hold it down against these this team right here. I still don't know how to, the emoji team. The emoji team.
Yeah, and really it's also tough too, because you got to think Cakes is going to be targeted on that Juno goalie. They're going to take it away from him. They don't want him playing it. Just get him off that comfort pick, get him off that solo queue habit, and put him on something that's going to require a little more brain power, a little more, you know, conscious playing, slightly less boosting, and just really force him to dial in.
I mean, absolutely. though I do believe he'll be able to hold it down. Now, just queued up, waiting for both teams to get into this lobby, and we will see which maps are picked and what not. Still, I'm excited to see this matchup go off. And, you're talking about one tricks. Mr. Incredible, definitely a known Estelle one trick. Back in the day, they had some interesting picks with that. They actually, I think the first times I saw them, they were running Pummelers Estelle, actually just playing for KOs. Now they've, mellowed out a bit with their playstyle, but they're still incredibly good. And we're loading onto Atlas Lab. That's definitely not something I expected from either side, but it's an interesting map with an interesting mechanic. We'll see how both teams play it.
Yeah, and Atlas Lab may be a bit beneficial for this Julie hover. The great meme is hovering it. So, when you do play Julie on Atlas Lab, you play for that pummelers, you play for your midfielder to be able to kind of get it up to you. And again, the one tricks, both of them taken out. They went down to Miami. They never returned. That Estelle and Juno are just both gone, which makes sense when you think about it. You don't want these people on their comfort picks. You don't want to get really to that, allow them to be comfortable and just force them to think a little more. And this Kai midfield actually coming out on Atlas Lab, a pretty decent pick. You are going to have to worry about when you look at this enemy team here that is hovering that Zentaro. Plus they also are going for Kai themselves actually, so they're going to have a little less damage. So Kai versus Kai, hopefully whichever one survives is going to be able to put their team in first.
Absolutely. I mean, interesting midfield matchup. Classic melee goalie matchup. We've seen Duo Atlas 3 games in a row now. Not super surprised. Both picks are just too solid to be, swapping off of. I will say, I think Mr. Incredible on the Kai is actually not as good as Cakes is on the Dubu. I mean, most goalies can play Dubu just fine, but as I say it, Cakes just lets that second barrier go for free, immediately opening the goals for Team Emoji here to try and put it through. Mr. Incredible looks for a barrage shot, but great patience there from Cakes on the strike, manages to hold it down. And instead, it's going to be the Zentaro retry CX with that slice and dice, just catching Cakes on the tipper there and forcing it through.
Yeah, and we talked about it. You got to be focused. You're off your comfort pick. You got to start dialing in and just really start consciously playing the game, realizing I got to put my A game on as Cakes is just getting absolutely mauled in the net here by Mr. Incredible in retry. Taking both barriers already, and Cakes forced to use that Tofu Fortress just to get retry away from him, as now retry with that flip is going to send it up here to Mr. Incredible. Mr. Incredible dribbling off the top, sends it through forward, doesn't get it quite through yet. Trying hits the Giga on the Sky Genji, and Jewish Asian almost killing his own teammate in the process.
Yeah. A lucky bounce there stops him from losing the barrier as well. Great meme and Sky Genji were both staggered, but it doesn't even matter as Jewish Asian just finds a quick pass to Mr. Incredible, who gets it to retry CX. And I mean, the classic Zentaro scoring combo. You hit your slice and dice, you hit your dash, hit it right through Cakes, and now it's 2-0 up for Emoji Team already.
Yeah, and you got to really think about it. In some of this gameplay, we talked about it once, and we'll talk about it again here. This Demolitionist, so powerful, and it was our starting awakening in this game, along with Spark of Focus, but no one really cares about Spark of Focus. we like the Demolitionist. And on this Julie, hopefully the Great Meme will be able to scale a little bit with it, start getting some of these barriers, start getting their cooldowns back, and trying to pray.
No. I mean, they're trying their best indeed, but Great Meme already staggered. Actually, Emoji Team not even looking to get this kill, just leaving them staggered, leaving them to play a little bit more scared. Jewish Asian snipes them with the astral projection, actually, and now it's just a power play opportunity. Retry CX still a little bit low, could be dangerous for him, but it doesn't look like only bad players is going to try and turn this one around. Instead, they managed to stall out that timer, trying to look and reset for this second barrier take.
Yeah, and Jewish Asian doing a nice job here, just trying to dribble, trying to stall, but Great Meme actually doing such a good job at just sitting, being annoying in front as Cakes, does a nice little flip to take retry off the map, and this core is just going back and forth, as Jewish Asian just clears it every time without fail, and what a nice shot, and totally intended, by the way, as that one did go into that bottom core, rolled back, Cakes. I mean, I would have fallen for it too, I'll be honest. And they're going to send us to our first set with Twin Drive starting here. So Atlas already going to be super strong in this game.
I mean, Jewish Asian showing us the, some calculus right there. Great angles. And now, I mean, this draft kind of hard to draft around. Sometimes it's a little, in some spots are a little easier, like tempo swing for Zentaro. Surprised that didn't get denied, actually. He just gets so much damage now. And if he decides to build stagger later, it's only going to contribute to that. But I mean, he has so many multi-hits. Now he's hitting for 6% of his mask health. That could be dangerous. Though, the big fish for Great Meme, giving him just a little bit more size, some more scoring potential, and some more KO potential could even things out.
Yeah, and Mr. Credible picking up that stacks on stacks for the fact that, oh my god, Cakes with a nice little double flop there off the side with a little bit of help from Great Meme. Now the pass down. Great Meme getting one barrier. Unfortunately, can't get it through. Jewish Asian doing such a nice job holding this down with that twin drive, with that expanse, and sends it back through. Both teammates up for the side of Jewish Asian here. He's going to have a little bit of reprieve from his 1v9 roll.
I mean, that was incredible defense from Jewish Asian. They're 1v3, and now actually forcing Cakes onto defense again. Cakes finds the flip, but it's going to be Great Meme going down off the side of the map, and now they're just back in this 2v3 situation that we've seen quite a few times already this match.
Yeah, and Cakes doing such a great job just holding it down, keeping it simple, not trying to do anything crazy, trusting in Sky Genji just to, you know, help him out and keep the core away as Jewish Asian is forced to pop that flip. Now, Sky Genji actually doing a nice job there, just smacking it into that centerpiece, and we're holding on here.
We're holding on indeed as both teams finally down both their barriers. A great Tofu Fortress from Cake stopping that Giga scoring attempt, making sure that his team can continue this offense. But now Retry has a flip, and this is dangerous. I mean, Zentaro can do a lot with the flip. If he gets some time to set up, he can put that core through a lot of things, and the flip is going to come out. Opts for the dash is just a little bit too slow, though, and Great Meme recognizes the situation well, hits it out, and now they're on the offense instead. Only bad players, I mean, looking for whatever chance they can get, but finally it's returned back, and the flip from Mr. Incredible hits through both Great Meme and Cakes just a little bit too slow on the strike. It's 1-0 up in this set, but that was a long point.
Yeah, and you'd like to think if you're Team Emoji here, you need to get back into this game. Just get 1 point, start with one, work from there. And Mr. Incredible is just absolutely running around with the field, I say, as we're doing a bit of Kai barraging here. Nothing really hitting the core. Unfortunately there, a barrier down, but again, it starts with the 1.
It does indeed start with a 1, and now, as you say, I realize I've had them mixed up. That's on me. But Team Emoji holding on strong here, manages to find the first barrier. Instead, they get it returned to them. However, Cakes does have the flip. Great Meme is staggered, but that barrier is going to go down. And now they're in danger once again. I mean, Great Meme keeps going down, and now Cakes looking in danger too. Going to be forced to use this flip in kind of not the spot he wants to, right? When not in a more opportune moment, because he's just at risk of dying. Retry CX now with a flip of their own, hits it through both Sky Genji and Cakes. Cakes still caught in the middle of the animation. Sky Genji just being barraged. Great timing there from Retry CX.
Yeah, and Cakes here on this bottom side of the map, try to flop up to get it, stop the roll. You know, he finished the animation of it, but wasn't actually able to get the, you know, that strikeout before it just went right past him. As Retry showing us why that tempo swing is so powerful. As a Great Meme, already down to 1 health.
I mean, Great Meme has been finding themselves in this situation a lot. It's so much damage from the side of only bad players, and they confirmed that kill so quickly. They weren't even staggered when that started, but a great barrage sets up that kill from Zentaro. And now Mr. Incredible looking to make another great play, put the core in the net. Core slips past him though, but instead it's going to be him one more time with the barrage and a strike. And Mr. Incredible looking incredible. So.
I like that one. That one's pretty good. You know, as incredible as he is going to send us to this next carousel here, and does have the prime time up if he so desires. Got that prime time, that perfect form if he wants to leave it for the Zentaro, which I have to hope he imagines, but Sky Genji gonna be forced to deny that here. You don't want to give the Zen perfect form when he already has that tempo swing, that siphoning wand, that demolitionist. He would just have infinite cooldowns, but is gonna take the build different here. So this is interesting to me, because I would have liked to see Retry on this build different, and then, you know, you give Mr. Incredible the fight or flight because he has the slick kicks. But we'll see how this works out here in the next set.
I am tempted to agree with you, right? Retry with the build different, getting that extra damage, but you know, it's only 5% more damage, and fight or flight is gonna allow him to chase these kills unimaginably well. I mean, look at how much damage he's doing. He's just gonna be able to walk Sky Genji down right now. I mean, he kind of is, right? If you look, he's just kind of marking it for the pick. And now Retry, knowing that Sky Genji is kind of forced out of the play, just tries to get some offense going. Great log there from Cakes, though, showing that he's not just a Juno one-trick, playing some good defense there. But the damage is just too good with that fight or flight. A surprisingly good pick. allowing him to just threaten those kills a little harder and chase people around a little more.
Yeah, and even though he's chasing people, he hasn't been able to find one just yet. Great Meme has been living on the edge, playing staggered the entire game so far and this entire set. As Cakes, a bit unfortunate, you know, with that Tofu Fortress, some of that inexperience coming from that Dubu pick instead of that, you know, Juno. That's why you want to take away their character, pick away the comfort, and just try and, you know, really put some of the pressure on.
Absolutely, and speaking of pressure, Emoji Team, great stuff from there from Mr. Incredible, using that barrage, forcing through, and now the Demolitionist resets their barrage, and they have it again. I'm pretty sure they just whipped out 3 barrages from thin air, a bit of a magic trick there. Now, just looking for whatever pressure they can to score. Both teams have their goal open, but it looks like Emoji Team is consistently pressing that offense just a little bit more, whittling down the midfield. And every time he gets returned back, Jewish Asian is able to find these passes up.
Yeah, and Jewish just doing such a great job here, holding on this edge, holding his team together, because, you know, if he does, Retry is just sitting, farming some stagger, just sending it forward, and putting so much pressure on Cakes, as you can see here, with these dribbles on this bottom side, and Mr. Incredible is sending that one to the top side, sends it through, and does a nice little sweeping barrage, covering all 3 angles, and nothing really for Cakes to do there.
I may have been wrong about Mr. Incredible being an Estelle one-trick. I mean, he's been showing off his Kai this match. Looking, I mean, once again, I'll say it again, he's looking incredible, right? His play has been great, his strike words have been great, his barrages have been great. Finding these barriers as well, and now Retry's turn to find a barrier and almost get a kill there, getting huge damage onto Cakes, can't quite capitalize off of it, and Cakes instead going to hold onto a barrier. But I mean, he's a little low, it's a little dangerous, and we've seen them stack this damage up. So... And as I say, Cakes actually manages to regen and escape that sort of life-threatening danger.
Yeah, and even if you do stack this damage up, you know, from the side of Team Emoji here, it's so difficult because you got this Atlas on the other side who's just going to drop that ult, just going to heal him back to full health. And all of a sudden you're fighting in this corner because look at what's happening to Great Meme, what, standing inside of the Atlas expanse. Obviously they elusived it, but that, I don't think I've seen that before.
And now, what a great team confirm there from Retry CX and Mr. Incredible. The Zentaro special into the Kai barrage. I mean, that was just wonderful coordination to find this advantage. Sky Genji looking low as well. Though it doesn't seem like they're looking to get more than 1 kill, just looking to press the advantage they have. Cakes manages to hold on for the respawn timer, but is actually getting incredibly lucky with these bounces, and even holds on long enough for his forwards to find a kill on Retry CX, who's been getting that damage in those kills this game. Bit of a table turning here. Jewish Asian forced to use the flip, and a great angle finally finds that barrier, which has been hanging on by a thread, and a great bounce there from Retry CX just out of the corner. Cakes just not quite sure where it's going. It's going to be 2-0 up, 2-0 for the side of Emoji.
Yeah, and you got to think, once Great Meme, you know, gets that power play, gets it going with that kill on Retry, you're going to want to get that barrier, but they just couldn't find it. The flip coming out from, you know, Jewish just absolutely holds it down. And then all of a sudden, Cakes lost his barrier, and then the gold too, but they get another chance here with another power play.
Absolutely. I mean, they need to capitalize on it now, though. Only bad players, I mean, this is quite literally their last chance this set. If they need to win this set to be in this game, and it looks like that power play is actually just going to be a reverse of, you know, the opposite of what happened last round, and Emoji Team just looking to put this one to bed. Mr. Did I mix? Is Emoji Team not Mr. Incredible's team? I've just been informed. I've been getting them mixed up again. But Retry CX now looking to put that pressure on Mr. Incredible, looking to give their teammates some opportunities. Take out the black hole, but Great Meme actually going to be able to snipe that pass and take down a barrier.
Yeah, and now here, Retry with that Zentaro ult, trying to get something, trying to get it through, maybe make Cakes a little nervous. Cakes being forced to use that flip there. Now Retry here on the bottom, tries to dash up with that Zentaro passive, and Mr. Incredible, you know, living up to his name, sends him a nice, incredible pass off that top, and, you know, Retry needed to retry a little bit of that strike war and just sent it right through that top. And, you know, you like to see this in losers quarters because the absolute domination that only bad players put on was so just strong, and if they can keep that up, they might be set to put themselves into that grand finals.
Absolutely. You know, I would be willing to bet they're absolutely a contender to win this tournament from the loser side, especially after that performance. I mean, there was quite a few moments there from all their players Retry CX being so good about stacking up that damage. I do think that fight or flight actually did play into him well. Built different probably would have done just about the same thing. So a bit of a you could have just given it to Mr. Incredible and taken the built different, but things happen and they still played off of it well. Not much to say other than that was just a good performance.
Yeah, and retry here with that 30,000
Oh
damage.
my god.
Had only 1 kill, but they were picked up by Mr. Credible and Jewish Asian, so you don't hate to see it. And 5 goals, 2 assists, but you know what? He did such a great job, fought so well in that, forward position, and just really held it down.
Absolutely. I mean, holding it down, he did also put on that offensive pressure as well. And now we're going to be looking into LP Thieves versus OSU 3 Islands. I'm actually featuring a couple of my friends again. I mean, Aromatic Mint Tea playing for this team along with a couple others. But for us, me and Daftgrass, we will be heading out of the booth and we will be being replaced by, I think, Lyrica and who's the other one?
I believe Saya.
Saya. All right. Great casting duo there as well, but we will be signing out and cutting to a break very shortly. So, Daftgrass, do you have anything you want to shout out? Any last words?
Shout out myself. I am him.
So real. For everybody here right now, tune in on, I think it's this Saturday, the 28th, to the Africa TV tournament. That'll be pretty big, but that's it.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Arcadian. We have our losers quarters matchup LP Thieves versus Osu 3 Iwans up next. We should be getting ready to do that shortly, and I'm here with Lyrica again. How have you been?
I've been good, Saya. I got my nice cup of hot tea because it's supposed to get really cold tonight, and got some water, chilling with some music. It's a good night. What about you, Saya?
Yeah, I've just been chilling here. Tournament's been running pretty solidly so far, honestly. It's been running smoothly. It's been good, and yeah, I'm ready to watch this gameplay. We saw the LP Thieves earlier falling to Marissa Kills Tricky 3, and Osu 3 Islands with a bit of an upset, I think a lot of people would say, over Cursed Riff earlier in the bracket in their previous round, so shout out to them.
Now, Osu 3 Islands is the CCL team, correct?
I'm not actually quite sure. It's Big Weepster, Arrowmint, and Rookie 52.
Maybe I was mistaking them for Wake Island.
Yeah,
That's probably my bad.
Yeah, they're a team that's very interesting. I think the most notable of those names to the general Mega Strikers competitive community is absolutely Aromatic Minty, right? A little bit known as that brawler player who can take over a game, but the other two players, no slouches either.
Yeah, I mean, Big Weepster, kind of a beast on the solo queue ladder. I've personally never heard of Rookie 52, but I've heard good things about them. And then on the other team, on LP Thieves, I mean, a pretty well-known team with Minter Freezer, Deathgun, and Findmucked. Honestly expecting Osu 3 Islands to kind of ban the IME here, specifically just because Findmucked plays so much IME, as we should be getting into it shortly.
Yep, we should be getting into it just about now. The map that has been chosen after the bans and picks is Atlas's Lab, so it'll be interesting. It might be a little bloody this game. The KOs may be a little frequent, but only time will tell as we are loading in.
Yeah, Atlas Lab and Night Market kind of seem to be the battlefield and final destination of Omega Strikers, for anyone that gets the Smash reference. Just tends to be the most common picks with this new map picking system, that, courtesy of the new customs lobby that Odyssey has given us, as we see a Juliet ban coming out from LP Thieves, probably against Aromatic Minty.
Yeah, very, very understandable ban. Perhaps one of the most understandable bans ever. You do not want the star player getting their star character here, and immediately, Atlas's Lab, they are picking a very, very bloody comp. Findmucked on the Comfort Imi, who does also still do a lot of damage. Kazan, Death Gun, looking to spread death, and Atlas to try and lessen the blows of the opponents a little bit. And on the other side, there's Zentaro. So exactly as expected, both teams going full KO mode this game.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked to see the X ban personally. It's probably likely due to the awakenings that have shown up here at the beginning, as we're about to get into it and see. But I think I much prefer LP Thieves comp over Osu 3 Islands, just specifically because of the Atlas pickup. Tempo swing, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, the tempo swing looking to be very, very powerful here, and all three members of Osu 3 Islands opting for the tempo swing, while there's some specialized action going on for the LP Thieves. But as we look on, Findmucked looking to send the core forward, and unfortunately, two players, one from each team, are name off right now. Of course, it isn't like the old system where it could actually confirm that these are the players because of the lobby system, but come on. There's no way we still have our name off. It is the year 2023. We're playing Omega Strikers, and it looks like the glitch pop from Findmucked is the one who sends that one in.
Findmucked is the IME on the blue team.
Yeah, but it was credited to Arrowmint, to Zentaro, so it must have been.
Oh, it must have been a glitch pop own goal then. Yeah, that's unfortunate. As we see the double barrier coming out here from the side of Osu 3 Islands, just kind of dominating the midfield and keeping it on the enemy's side as much as they can. Really showing the power here. I was a little afraid of Big Weepster taking the slick kicks in this game, potentially being KO'd too much, but I think the slick kicks are causing this dominance of the midfield to come out in this first set.
Yep. Now, though, saves having to be made by Winter Freezer as It's looking a little dangerous here for the side of the LP Thieves on the defense, currently being pushed by OS3 Islands, but Arrowmint is low, out of the play completely as the defense is coming through. But Arrowmint looking for a dribble, looking for a play with the passive strike, will barely be unable to find it. Still fighting, still up against the Atlas, and unstaggered for now.
Yeah, Zentaro with the tempo swing and the siphoning wand, kind of hard to keep down in the staggered range for too long. Both teams having trouble finding the openings that they need here, making passing plays that get intercepted, making saves that get stuffed back towards them. Flips just coming out left and right here as Big Weepster's doing a very good job keeping it on the enemy side of the field, trying to get a kill there on a Death Gun, but Rookie 52 really holding it down here, and Death Gun finally gets sent off the pitch by Zentaro, a name off that I forgot their name currently. This is the power play that they needed. See if they can make this. Oh, and the goalie's down, and yeah, with the 3v1 power play for OSU 3 Islands gets them the goal.
Yep. 3 Islands, 3 players, Big Weepster being the one to take the credit for that KO, creating these power plays, and this team looking to be a lot scarier than I expected. They're figuring it out. The LP Thieves look a little lost right now. They're being outpaced in terms of both the damage and the core control. Look at Death Gun's health. It's not looking too high. Has to run for the orb, but while he's there, it's a 3v1 in the midfield as Big Weepster and Arrowmint converge. The barrier is not taken. Finally, it has to be another strike required. Arrowmint does not get a strike required to clean up the second barrier, though, and now it's the LP Thieves advancing. Tofu Fortress from Rookie 52 will stop it in his tracks.
Yeah, Rookie 52 having to use the Tofu Fortress there. It could be the opening for the side, and it turns out not to be the opening for the side of LP Thieves, as Aromatic Minty, as I have been told, hits it in there. Just nice play overall from OSU 3 Islands right now, mostly maintaining more control over the core in this game that's probably going to turn pretty bloody pretty quickly, as we see the twin drive here. Does Aromatic... Yeah, Aromatic has to deny the twin drive, which leaves Atlas open for a lot of very good options here. And Aimee also having a couple of very good options here in both Fireflight and Deadeye as the prize fighter pickup from Big Weepster. That's a little interesting. I think Big Weepster maybe should have considered Fireflight running the slick kicks in this case, but possibly denying Death Gun the opportunity to scale even harder into the late game.
No, it's so confusing, right? Because Feinmucked is the Aimee that picks the prize fighter, and technically denying the Death Gun teammate while also not picking up Deadeye, not really leaving those... It's a really confusing pickup from Feinmucked, I gotta say. Requires snowballing and it basically just hampers your own team draft-wise.
Yeah, Deadeye on Aimee just secures kills far more than any amount of prize fighter stacks is going to, unless it's fully stacked. Aimee Dash recently nerfed, but still incredible at picking up KOs when necessary. And Deadeye just basically is Super Surge without the dash range for Aimee. It's an incredible... Oh, what a play. Unfortunate by Big Weepster to miss that strike as it goes right up to Feinmucked.
Yeah, Feinmucked finds the angle into the bottom side, and now it's looking a little bit good for the LP Thieves. They look like they've warmed up, found a way to get back into the game, but Death Gun again taking so much damage, forced to jump up, try and get some damage on Rookie, but instead Death Gun will be the one being staggered. Will still find that special from the secondary, find the barrier, open goal, flip available, demon angle from Feinmucked. It will secure it.
Yeah, the classic Aimee combo, just a little bit more extended with the core flip there, but Feinmucked making the great play and showing why people tend to ban Aimee players off their favorite character. As we see now with Feinmucked having no energy, I'm a little shocked that IOC 3 Islands aren't pressuring more with the Zentaro tempo swing. Almost tempo swing alone, Saya, can cause someone to become fully staggered. But Big Weepster sent off the pitch anyway, and now we have a power play situation for LP Thieves.
Yeah, Big Weepster is back though, but both barriers are down. They have to make something happen here. Arrowmint, one barrier, two barriers with the Big Weepster firewall sentry. Feinmucked passed down to Death Gun though. Huge opportunity for the LP Thieves as Feinmucked spaces back, threatens that Aimee blink that we all know. The range dash punch, the glitch pop, passing it forward still. Feinmucked holding on to the blink as Death Gun being harassed by both Big Weepster and Arrowmint. But right now, Rookie in a corner has the log against the flip, manages to save it for now. Arrowmint with full control of the core, dribbling up the field around the expanse, loses control for a moment. Big Weepster speeds it up to the other side. Rookie manages to get the clear, but is not long for this world, is KO'd, and Big Weepster in the net. Can they hold for now as Arrowmint patrolling the midfield, trying to interrupt Feinmuck, wins the strike war by so much time. Big Weepster makes the clear happen. Arrowmint with the dribbles past the primary, gets it again with the Zentaro special, sends it forward, catches the clear from Winter Freezer, and Aromatic Mint Tea absolutely carries that round.
Yeah, the Brawler Star really showing his stuff on this in this game, Saya. Taking over the round, catching the clears where they needed to happen, and despite Feinmuck's pressure early on in that volley, OSU 3 Islands just able to clinch it out, even after losing Rookie 52. As Feinmuck comes, but a KO from Deathgun. This is their chance to try and get a point, and yeah, Deathgun just hits it in. Big Weepster unable to strike during the animation of casting the turret.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. They held for so long, but in the next point, Rookie accidentally spaces back a little bit too much, gets taken out, and that's curtains for the sets. Now the Demolitionist available, the Super Surge available. Will the Imi Brain take over, or will the Biss be taken?
Oh, the Imi Brain takes over. Saya, Demolitionist on Fighter Flight Slick Kicks Imi is arguably a much better pick here, and unfortunately, Rookie 52 has to now deny it from the team from LP Thieves.
Yeah.
Possibly a double deny here, knowing that Rookie 52 would need to deny Demolitionist and taking Super Surge away from Feinmuck. Oh no, Feinmuck took Super Surge.
Yeah, no, Feinmuck taking Super Surge is actually fine here, even though Demolitionist would arguably be better in the current patch. Forcing Rookie, the goalie, to take it to deny from Deathgun is super valuable.
What a save.
And amazing saves coming through from Winter Freezer. Rookie now has to be the hero. Manages to get it out. The hook does not connect from Deathgun, as now Arrowmint sending it forward, but it is taken by Deathgun, who is working on the two barriers of their own. But it goes to Arrowmint yet again. These Brawler players really defining the game. Arrowmint with the primary gets the barrier. Suddenly a lead for OSU 3 Islands. Rookie 52 still holding it down, not taking too much damage, but has little elusive to work with. The bar is nowhere close to full. The special from Arrowmint flipped away by Winter Freezer. Still defended by Rookie 52 though. And that center blast, Big Weepster takes 3 million damage, is completely staggered. Still gets the KO onto Feinmuck. Now a pass up. Forced to make the clear is Winter Freezer, still managing to clear it away. Rookie 52 now with the Tofu Fortress trying to start some offense here. Big Weepster manages to catch core with the strike, and still it is Winter Freezer holding on, but for how much longer? Whoa, great save from Feinmuck.
Yeah, surprisingly, the non-Super Surge Imi getting the kill on the Super Surge Prize Fighter Imi, resetting that stack back down to zeros. Aromatic BT almost gets it in with the Zentaro Ultimate, the Slice and Dice. And unfortunate barrier from, I forgot the goalie for the team of LP Thieves, but
yeah.
unfortunate secondary kicks it in.
You know what we could do? We just call them Mike Mart. If it's a name off person, we just call them Mike Mart.
Explanation point, Mike Mart.
Yeah, it's Mike
Everyone's
Mart.
Mike Mart.
Anyway, Big Weepster, Mike Mart going in with that Zentaro blink. Big Weepster still dribbling forward, not dying, importantly, to the combo from Feinmuck. Still managing to survive. Mike Mart on the Atlas now, managing to clear it away. Has flip available. Now Feinmuck sending it forward. Big Weepster has to be a little careful. So does Arrowmint. The entire team of OSU 3 Islands has to be a little careful. No meter to speak of. Great pull from Deathgun. And the LP Thieves look to be activated to the bottom side. The flip goes, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, Rookie 52 just caught in the log animation, leaves the tiny gap open for Deathgun's core flip to just be knocked through. The poke from Kazan just really making core flips move even faster and much harder to defend overall. As Big Weepster really showing the power here of the slick kicks of Fighter Flight, but then loses control with Feinmuck's turret. A nice dash combo from Imi, and yeah, unfortunately Rookie 52 just hits the Soren angle, bounces it off the bottom, and Deathgun is there, reacts in time. 2-1 in the set.
Rookie almost had it. It was so close, but missed strike once, and that just hung the core out for Death Gun to strike. It was just dangling in the goal. And now it is Mike Mart on the Zentaro, who is looking incredibly low now as Death Gun sends it forward. Now it's a Mike Mart versus Mike Mart battle, but one of the Mike Marts is completely staggered. This Zentaro has no health left, but is still working in this midfield, looking for an opportunity. And Rookie 52 is the one who gets the KO on the Kazan of Death Gun. Now, huge opportunity for OC3 Islands. Can they get it to their Mike Mart? Big Weepster sending it forward to Mike Mart. No, stuffed away by the expanse of Mike Mart. The primary of Mike Mart still sends it away, and the LP Thieves hold.
Yeah, we got some Mike Mart on Mike Mart violence going on, Saya, as Mike Mart's trying to heal off of Mike Mart's Atlas to try to make sure that they don't get KO'd in this heavy KO fest. But Mike Mart with an amazing primary against Mike Mart keeps it out of the goal. Mike Mart trying his best to get it in with various Zentaro abilities, but just unable to find it. Mike Mart making incredible saves currently. Feinmuck's having some trouble getting it up the field to Death Gun to be able to score here. Core Burst coming out left and right as Mike Mart gets the KO onto Death Gun. Feinmuck, though, trying to make the play in the power play situation, not quite able to. Passing it back to Mike Mart. Mike Mart versus Mike Mart again. And Mike Mart makes a great core flip, sends it up away from Mike Mart. And Feinmuck and Death Gun now have an opportunity against Rookie 52, who likely doesn't have very many cooldowns. Oh, but a great Summer Assault saves it. And now Mike Mart walking up the field with Big Weepster, intercepted by Feinmuck as Big Weepster. Oh, great clears from Rookie 52 and Big Weepster here against Feinmuck's turret and Death Gun. Now we have Mike Mart on Mike Mart violence, and Mike Mart sends it in against Mike Mart, Saya. It's 2-2.
Yeah, Zentaro to the top side. The dribbles are amazing from OC3 Islands Mike Mart, as Mike Mart from LP Thieves not quite able to cover the entire goal with that Atlas, but now it's Feinmuck ready and waiting to try and do some offense here. Sends it forward, gets one barrier. Rookie 52, no meter left, but it will be Death Gun who is the one who falls to the abyss. Now it is a huge opportunity for Osu 3 Islands. Can they get it past this Mike Mart, who is on the Atlas here with the Imi turret from Big Weepster? Feinmuck blinking forward, not really finding anything though, and Death Gun is now back. Open primary does so much damage to Big Weepster. No meter on the side of Rookie 52 too. They have to be so careful here if you're any of them, but suddenly it is Death Gun who is the one who is staggered, but the barriers are open. Caution is required for OC3 Islands. Once again, Feinmuck setting it forward to Death Gun. The bottom of the goal is wide open, and the LP Thieves take a 2-set lead to 1.
Saya, the Mike Marts have been identified. We've got Winter Freezer as the Atlas for LP Thieves.
No, we already knew. We already knew. We knew this. We are ignoring
They're all Mike Mart.
They're all Mike Mart.
We're all Mike Mart now.
They're all Mike
As
Mart.
we see the extra special deny coming in here, away from the Dubu. A lot of really good things here for Zentaro. It's very hard to deny, as a peak performance coming out from Rookie 52. Likely a deny against the tempo swing, but I'm not really exactly sure on the pick there. Despite having Spark of Resilience, I'm not sure the speed increase is going to help tremendously. Likely just a way to defend against Death Gun's overall damage. As
I think Peak is the best possible pick there. The Dubu does have that Spark of Resilience that is so much dagger to get speed off of, unconditional speed no less, and Rookie 52 will have a much easier time against Death Gun here.
Yeah, I think Rookie 52, just unfortunately Death Gun just doesn't quite have the Kazan page that you're really looking for. Only really having the Knife's Edge and the Spec training for the damage. And with Rookie 52's HP, it's very difficult for Death Gun to see any sort of KO potential against this Dubu, as LP Thieves get a KO, but returned immediately by Osu 3 Blasts. Feinmuck trying to make a play, but Mike Mart and Rookie 52 holding it down against the Imi turret. Just hit it around.
Yeah, but as Big Weepster and Death Gun respawn, the offense kicks off yet again. The Mike Mart of the red team. OC3 Island still pushing forward. Gets a bit of a shot to the bottom side, but a flip by the other Mike Mart will manage to save it. Now the flip available for the Zentaro Mike Mart, but Death Gun sends it all the way around. The great interruption by Feinmuck. Rookie 52 misses the strike. And what was almost a point for the side of OC3 Islands just goes over to the LP Thieves.
Yeah, incredible heads-up play from FineMuck there to get the dash into strike combo and to send it forward away from the Zentaro. Mike Mart on the Zentaro with core flip, using it here to try and set up a play and gets the barrier. Despite missing the secondary, Deathgun gets one of the barriers now against Rookie 52. A tough situation against the Imi turret. FineMuck, or not FineMuck, Big Weepster taking a ton of damage against the Imi turret, but able to clear it. Deathgun looking for the KO here, but Big Weepster still making contributions from basically the corner pocket. Rookie 52 able to hold it out with the Tofu Fortress. Big Weepster finally taking off the pitch, passing plays from Deathgun and FineMuck, and yeah, it's very difficult for Dewey to deal with that, Saya. Up 2-0 in the set, match point.
But as the game goes on, LBCs are just exploiting the bad habits of Rookie 52. I think this is mostly on this Dubu goalie. Greeting for the orb while there's only one barrier left when you're at full stagger, and also just positioning really awkwardly around the open goal makes it easy for this NASA veteran team to get the goals. Like, you cannot, these are not easy teams. Like, if you're OC3 Islands, you can't play the same way you played against some of the teams that you have played before, because LP Thieves will punish that, and they are.
Yeah, FineMuck and Deathgun really showing a lot of synergy now as we get further into these sets. Aromatic Minty having a hard time keeping control of the core, keeping control of their stagger as they're staggered on the pitch now, trying to heal up using the Zentaro ultimate, but unable to find it as Mike Mart has plenty of evades to keep the Zentaro at bay. But Big Weepster making a play. The Mike Mart Expanse comes out and saves it. Rookie 52 and Big Weepster having a little bit of trouble keeping it away from them, but Big Weepster gets the KO onto Deathgun and the barrier. And now Rookie 52 and Big Weepster just got to get it to Mike Mart on the Zentaro, but FineMuck, another incredible interception. Unfortunately goes all the way around the world, and Rookie 52 barely misses the strike. It's an open goals on both teams as... Oh man, FineMuck Deathgun almost had it there with an accidental hit from Big Weepster. But now it's Mike Mart on the Zentaro trying to set up a play. Rookie 52 almost out of position, but barely saves in the end. And Mike Mart does not see the angle on Mike Mart's Zentaro ult. And Mike Mart kicks it in. 2-1.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit close here. It's looking a little dangerous for both sides, but the LP Thieves, they have to be the ones to clean it up here, and they do with the KO onto one of the Mike Marts. The top barrier exposed as Rookie 52 has to stun away Deathgun, has to get away from this Kazan. But are you sure you want to burn your abilities like that? Because your health bar is massive. Look at that. The open primary did like a 1/7 of the health bar of Rookie 52. So maybe you don't have to care here, as once again Rookie 52 managed to defend with Big Weepster. But Deathgun wins the strike war against 2. The barrier is open though. Huge opportunity for one of the Mike Marts, but the core will not be connected with the dash. Deathgun sending it forward. Strike war situation. Mike Mart almost being taken out by FineMuck. Great saves coming out from Mike Mart. Has to use the flip against the Mike Mart damage though. Has to heal up as well. Rookie 52 now sending it forward, but again the play will stall out thanks to the Tofu Fortress.
Yeah, the real brawler on LP Thieves right now, Saya, is not the Kazan, but it is the Imi. With 3 stacks as they, oh man, just kicks it in past Big Weepster, who just barely misses the strike and takes the goal. But Imi, with 3 stacks of Prize Fighter, Super Surge, and 1-2 Punch, Saya, I think the real brawler has been discovered in this game, which is unfortunately over now.
Yeah, both teams playing well, especially at the start, but in the end, it really came down to LP Thieves just having that more experience, it felt like. They were just more coordinated as a team. They had less bad habits as a team. Yeah,
able to take advantage of Three Islands' habits and adjust mid-game to their overall play. And able to play around Aromatic Mike Mart's Zentaro as finding the holes in Big Weepster's midfield defense and Rookie 52's defense especially, and able just to capitalize, like you said, showing their experience against a slightly less experienced team.
All right, now it's LP Thieves versus only bad players. The team that got 3rd in the ladder versus the team that got 4th in the ladder.
How many Mike Marts are you expecting this game, Saya?
0, because I yelled at them.
But what if it's a 6 Mike Mart game?
What if it's a 6 Mike Mart game? Then, you know, we could just speed run all the way to Grands, because are they real players at that point?
I don't know. Maybe everyone's just Mike Mart in their deep in their souls. Everyone is Mike Mart.
Everyone is Mike Mart. Definitely an interesting lesson to be had from the games today, but we'll be waiting a little bit as only bad players have to get back. LB Thieves might want a little bit of a break, but it sounds like I'm going to a break. I'm not. We're just talking, I think.
Just doing a bit of chatting, streaming, maybe a little bit of brawling, and some orbing. Like Rookie 52 and his orbing, that game.
Yeah.
Recently, speaking of Omega Strikers, Team Tech seems to really just be dominating in the points field right now, Saya.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts about that?
It's interesting. I'm not quite sure, I guess. I think one of the prevalent theories is that Team Tech just has less players, which makes it easier to boost the win rate through like people 3-stacking and that having a bigger impact on the overall win rate, which I think is the most plausible conclusion. But if Team Tech win today's like win rate thing, I think they're just locked in, right? Because they have 8 and then there's 7 left, 7 possible points left. Yeah.
Yeah, if Team Tech takes it today, which I believe the results should be in, not that we can see them, because we're in a lobby currently. But yeah, if they do take today, they take the entire event already halfway through. Kind of like people completing the battle pass on day 10 with 130 days remaining.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I don't know why they do win rate based events. Win rate is such a bad metric to use for that type of thing.
Yeah, it's a little strange. I think more so win numbers could be better. I'm not sure. I'm not really a game designer, so I'm not sure I can even comment on that specifically. As we should be getting into the game decently shortly. I can't see the chat, so I don't know exactly if anyone's gone on break. But speaking more on this game specifically, we have only bad players against LP Thieves. Only bad players currently under the name of E, Retry, and Jewish Asian, or in this case, it's Jewish Asian, Mr. Incredible, and Retry CX. A team that does Mr. Incredible team with Jewish Asian that often? I don't remember.
I don't think that often in my memory, but Mr. Incredible definitely an incredible player, responsible for those 1v3 highlight plays, some of the most viewed clips of the past few months.
Yeah, just the absolute mind-boggling plays of not goalie Estelle. Forwards in the net, but not in the way that you would think, Saya. And Jewish Asian, a decently known challenger player who is pretty good at holding it down in the goals against even some of the better players in the game. Personally, I've never heard of Retry CX. But based on the games that I have seen currently in this tournament, they've been doing a pretty good job of being that forward that Mr. Incredible needs to use their teamwork and grab the barriers and goals as they need.
Yeah, but LP Thieves are a NASA team. They're a team that's been together for a long time, really. Like, this is a team that has stuck around together. So when it comes to synergy, they are quite up there, I'm led to believe, as they also have a bit of a storied history, right? Placed decently in NASA and made a huge upset in the qualifiers for NASA in Liftoff, I believe. I should be the most familiar with this, but I forgot.
They were the ones that upset one of the higher seeded teams to actually kick them out of NASA, correct?
Of NASA, yeah. They're the ones who upset Quest Esports, actually, which is quite interesting because Quest Esports are in this very bracket right now. It's a very different flavor of Quest Esports, though.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Quest Esports original roster. Being fairly new to the scene myself, only probably about a month in the competitive scene in general. But I have been told that Starcade is kind of Quest Esports tournament where they show up and are destined to win and just can't quite make it each time. So I'm curious to see if LP Thieves are able to take it over only bad players and we get that pseudo rematch in grand finals, Saya.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, especially because I'm going to ping at everyone in the competitive Discord just a warning ahead of time for Grands, because this is another page in the storybook. Can Quest Esports break the curse? They've gotten second at so many tournaments, and even much bigger ones than this. They've only, starting from launch, they have only gotten second or below. Even in like way bigger tournaments when Lily One was still on the team, when they were considered maybe a fringe top team, they got second. So, will this be the one that they take, or will the curse prevail? And also, they're also like much older than the average Omega Strikers community age of like 20, and they have jobs and tournaments go late. So the sleep debuff might kick in, especially since they're sitting in Grands and waiting.
Yeah, they gotta hope that they don't choose Oni's Village and it goes set 5.5 for a 50-minute Oni's Village game. Thankfully, still best of one in this loser semis, but they've got a while to wait yet, and hopefully the eepiness, as they say, doesn't creep up on them.
Yep, and they are heading to night market. It's getting later and later, 11 for those on the East Coast like me, and we should be getting into it right now, I think. I'm just waiting for them to ready.
Right, meow.
One of them's ready. They're ready. Let's go.
Let us away, Saya. Getting into the game, night market, again, it kind of seems to be the night market Atlas Lab duo currently. We always used to joke in the Smash community about Final Destination and Battlefield being like the two most played maps on Melee, and then in Brawl it was Smashville and Battlefield. There's always seems to be in competitive scenes those two maps that end up dominating over the rest in terms of quote-unquote neutrality. And a Night Market and Atlas Lab seems to be those maps for Omega Strikers as we get into the bans here.
Well, it's mostly the fault of whoever decided the ranked pool, right? Because the current pool does not have the greatest maps in terms of competitiveness. Like Inky Splash Zone, I think a lot of teams will just throw out in terms of like, yeah, we don't want that. As much as I love Clarion, I don't think teams will want to play on it, especially because it's so new, and also it's the best for fun map that Odyssey Interactive has ever made in the history of this game, but it is still a quote-unquote for fun map. And then there's Oni Village, which not all teams will opt for, so the map pool itself doesn't really lend itself to having a lot of potential picks because it's just a very iffy map pool. And if you notice the no ban from LP Thieves, that is just a normal thing that happens when you don't turn on your name. That just happens. It's normal.
Just very, very normal, Saya. Very, very privileged play. And we're going to get into it here. Only bad players banning FineMuck's Aimee. Unsurprising, FineMuck looked very comfortable being able to play their comfort pick on the previous map. And Aimee is quite a good character on Night Market, as we see a heavy impact peak performance start.
Heavy impact and peak performance. That's a lot of speed to work with, and Retry CX, I think, will be the X factor to watch out for, because damage is not very high on the side of the LP Thieves. They are just going for a lot of core control unless Death Gun picks up some kind of crazy tempo swing, which is definitely possible. Retry now going in, both barriers down in the favor of the only bad players as Mr. Incredible looking to win the strike war, looking to send it through. Retry with the crossfire with the primary, and the first point goes over to only bad players.
Yeah, showing the synergy here between the two of them. Mr. Incredible covering the up clear with the Crystal Thorns, and Retry CX being able to catch the redirect from the Crystal Thorns with the Zentaro primary. Nice, simple goal with no cooldowns on Winter Freezer. As we see some dribbling coming out from FineMuck to Winter Freezer, looking for the openings, getting through, and getting the barrier. Winter Freezer to FineMuck. Death Gun pulls out the ult, and Jewish Asian has to respond in kind with his own ult. Mr. Incredible keeping it in the hands of Retry. No expanse on the Atlas, but able to call out the core flip, Saya.
Yeah, able to just completely call it out. Now Retry, no meter left. Look at the meter on the side of everyone else. Everyone else has a lot of meter to work with, but Retry, unfortunately, has none. Death Gun now looking, striking, dashing, but it is Mr. Incredible on the other side. So consistent at getting those Estelle beams. Now dropping back to help out with the defense. Retry gets the speed buff from the center, sends it forward, forces the flip out of FineMuck on defense. And now Mr. Incredible still sending it forward, looking to make a play. Dribbles up to the top side, has the blink, has the crossfire, forcing the flip out of Winter Freezer. Good to flip though, doesn't lose the goal for nothing as Death Gun now on the other side. Uses the flip, retry, gets it, catches it with the passive strike, and 2-0 in the favor of only bad players. This team is really, really good.
Yeah, Juiciation unfortunately losing the flip there, trying to call out Death Gun's flip, but it ended up running back into the hands of Retry CX, and he's able to get it in with the catch on the pass. Mr. Incredible blinking in with a primary, gets the first barrier. No more cooldowns to work with, and unfortunately, a small Estelle with no cooldowns is not going to make the plays that you need her to make, Saya.
Yeah, and Death Gun is the one who is making the plays right now. Great clear by Juiciation, great stun as well as it goes into the hands of Retry, who smartly stalls the core out, but the tornadoes coming through. The Path Splitter is awaiting, and Juiciation, the wrong button at the wrong time. Unfortunate Tofu Fortress means that LP Thieves get their first one of the game.
And that's always such an unfortunate feeling, to burn such a long cooldown in the Tofu Fortress and just whiff the strike that was necessary to save the goal. Retry CX dumping the entire Zentaro kit onto the core, but unable to get that first barrier, even with Mr. Incredible's help. Passing plays coming forward, but unable to get anything on Jewish Asian as well. FindMuck dribbles, but Retry catches it for the first barrier. FindMuck trying to win this strike war, and does against Mr. Incredible. Death Gun with the Asher primary. FindMuck grabs the second barrier, and just a clean strike past 3 for the goal.
Yeah, and the shrunk Jewish Asian cannot get in the right position to save that. Not enough space being taken up by the Dubu when shrunk there. And suddenly, LP Thieves looking to reverse sweep this first set, as now Retry does have the flip available though. Look at the meter, look at the energy economy. No meter for FindMuck. If Retry can get the second barrier, stay alive, manages to somehow miraculously not die to the primary from point blank, somehow gets sour spotted by it when Death Gun was completely in their face.
Yeah, Winter Freezer with incredible patience there against the Zentaro with full kit and flip, able to make the clear with the secondary. As Death Gun and FindMuck find the first barrier, Retry trying to put some pressure onto Death Gun for the flip, and Death Gun actually does burn the flip in response. No flips now for the side of LP Thieves. Winter Freezer coming up on one, but more of a defensive option as opposed to an offensive. Mr. Incredible using the flip to get down to Retry CX, who just barely misses the primary for the return shot. Station burning the secondary, but it gets past him anyway. Still saved. Death Gun trying to make a play with the Path Splitter, and now kind of reset back to neutral, with Retry trying to use his abilities to get this goal, but both goalies just really holding it down here. A little bit of lucky bounces, and Death Gun gets a nice strike up to the top corner. Winter Freezer trying to use the core flip in an offensive play pass to Death Gun, but unable to find him, and Death Gun gets a nice dribble. Jewish Asian having to flip to keep it out of play, Saya.
Yeah, that was a bit of a long-winded play there. Lots of stuff happening, lots of back and forth, and once again Death Gun, who is dribbling, trying to stall it out. Jewish Asian has to make the save, has to drop to the bottom side, but now it's looking scary as Retry has that flip again. The round has lasted so long that Retry went from 0 to hero, but burns it still. Makes up for it by getting the barrier, getting the goal. Great pass from Mr. Incredible. And if you're LP Thieves, you're on the cusp of that reverse sweep. It feels a little bad here as you head into this draft.
Yeah, Winter Freezer actually moving just a fair bit out of position there. And Retry's able to find that pass from Mr. Incredible and slot it between two. No sign of tempo swing in this draft. With Stagger Swagger available, I think, Sai, the tempo sweep is going to be the major factor of if this game turns damage focused or if it continues to be the more core control focus that we have. Chrono Boost actually getting onto the era, I'm a little surprised that Retry didn't deny that.
No, I'm not surprised at all. This is like the most obvious everyone just takes BIS draft that I've ever seen. Retry taking the quick strikes, really trying to control that midfield, and that allows Mr. Incredible to just get that hot shot for free. Like, Retry not taking any of those means that FindMuck has to choose between one of their BIS or denying hot shot or taking Castellas or Chrono. Like, so much stuff for FindMuck just goes down the drain in this draft.
That is true. I did not see the Castellas myself. And FindMuck now has a very few options, like you said, as the drafts continue. So they're going to need to try and win as quickly as possible, as Mr. Incredible and Retry are going to be able to scale more than this era is likely able to. Getting both barriers here with some great plays, able to win the strike wars necessary. Retry coming forward, and yeah, passive from Zentaro and Estelle Primary both intercept the clear from Winter Freezer.
And it looks like the only bad players are looking to take this pretty cleanly, as they have gotten the superior draft. They have consistently been able to get these goals, and as long as Retry just cleans up the core flips a little bit, they're looking to be incredibly dominant here. Getting one, getting two barriers in an instant for Retry CX with the Zentaro, and now Feinmuck has to control this midfield for dear life because it slips past. If it gets past that era on the midfield line, Retry is lurking. Mr. Incredible is looking to make the snipe and continuing to threaten this goal.
Yeah, Mr. Incredible had all the cooldowns ready, and getting it to Winter Freezer was very scary, as most goalies are usually pretty terrified of Estelle's full kit. Deathgun making a great dash play for the second barrier, and now both sides have open goals, and cooldowns being used everywhere means these should stay open for even longer. Retry almost getting the dash into strike, but unfortunately just barely misses it. Mr. Incredible with the flip, almost gets it past Feinmuck. Actually faking out Winter Freezer there, able to bait out a core flip accidentally. Mr. Incredible really holding it down here, 2v1 in the midfield. Feinmuck trying to dribble away from Retry. Winter Freezer has to use the secondary to stop the core flip. Mr. Incredible dribbling up and down. And Zentaro's kit comes out, but not quite. Winter Freezer with the incredible Soren angle to save it on the goal line. And Deathgun using the Path Flitter to try and get it around Mr. Incredible, but Mr. Incredible just too incredible to get past in this midfield, Saya.
Yeah, but right now it's looking a little bit dangerous as Mr. Incredible is there, blinks forward, gets the primary, and a long point, but not long when Mr. Incredible finds the perfect opportunity. Again, the 2-0 lead for only bad players last time. We were here, went to 2-2, but this time I think that they'll try to avoid losing 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think only bad players are starting to catch on to Winter Freezer's clear patterns with their strike, because almost every goal so far has been some sort of snipe interception from Winter Freezer's clear. And I'm curious to see if Winter Freezer's going to be able to catch on to that and adjust their clears. Currently, no, as that snipe intercept from Mr. Incredible Retry leads to both barriers. Open goal, high energy bars. This is looking very scary for LP Thieves.
Yeah, and Mr. Incredible now sending it forward. Retry, doesn't flip, but now has the flip blocked away by the primary of Winter Freezer. Mr. Incredible, though, look at that meter, incredibly high. A few more strikes, a few more abilities. Retry might not even need that flip from Mr. Incredible. Deathgun still lurking, getting the barrier on the other side. The LP Thieves are not going down without a fight, but look at that. Mr. Incredible, the bar has taken the blue. The blink forward, the flip is available, blocked out by the Expanse, but now it's Retry's turn to go in. Winter Freezer has the flip, but Deathgun whiffs the flip. That's a resource gone. That could be everything here to snipe. Misses from Mr. Incredible, but again to the top side, blocked away by the primary of Winter Freezer. Deathgun now looking for something with the speed boost. Mr. Incredible still winning all of the strike wars. The Shrunk Retry still manages to get the passive, and despite the era debuff, they take 2 sets.
Yeah, just yet another snipe onto Winter Freezer's clear. Just really taking advantage of Winter Freezer not really adjusting their strike timings and strike positioning, and just finding these snipes for what you could almost consider easy goals as Twin Drive here, but opts to take the perfect form, leaving the Twin Drive up for Winter Freezer.
Yeah, perfect form is just so strong on this Zentaro. I think they're just playing for the strength. They're thinking, we can still get past Winter Freezer. We can go around Winter Freezer even with this Twin Drive. And honestly, I kind of respect that, but it means the reverb drops all the way. Like, you can't really deny all the staggers, right? But this is a surprisingly good draft for the LP Thieves. They get the stagger scaling on that peak. They get the bulk up. They get the reverb. Maybe they can find a way here, but it all hinges on whether they can control this Retry Zentaro that will just be spamming buttons.
Yeah, all the stagger pickups here mean not only does the core gonna move fast as the game progresses, but these characters are moving incredibly fast. Chrono Boost on the era, the peak on pretty much the entire lobby except Retry means it's gonna be a lot harder to clear against this basically souped up Asher and souped up era. It's incredible how both Jewish Asian and Mr. Incredible are still able to find these clears against these 2 forwards that are incredibly fast.
Yeah, but look at that. Winter Freezer. The clears have improved like a ridiculous amount. Just completely shutting down the offensive retry, saying this is fake. I can just strike this. Something that we have not seen so far in this game. As Winter Freezer continues to defend. No! Presses the expanse instead of the strike. Loses the barrier. Huge opportunity. But this time it is just Death Gun with that additional speed, able to dribble it across the map to the top side.
Yeah, Winter Freezer's getting that Twin Drive, really showing the power of Twin Drive on Atlas here. Be able to keep it away through all of Retry CX's effectively 0 cooldowns, as we like to joke. Another strike snipe from Retry, and Mr. Incredible scores a barrier. As we have a flip coming out from Mr. Incredible, stuffed by Death Gun, and Feinmuck setting up the Arrow Tornado, but able to strike around it is Jewish Asian. Feinmuck trying to find this 1v2, and gets out of it. Mr. Incredible going for the KO onto Death Gun, but ends up whiffing, and the Death Gun's able to secure the first barrier. And a beautiful bait by Retry CX scores the second barrier with the core flip.
And this missile propulsion Tofu Fortress from Jewish Asian has been so good so far, but they're unable to find anything off of it. Retry looking a little low, looking to make a dribble play here, but Winter Freezer has flip available. The snipe will not come through from the Zintaro Blink. Mr. Incredible looking for it, looking for the KO onto Feinmuck, will not be able to find it, as now Feinmuck regenning to full. The flip from Jewish Asian just goes directly to Winter Freezer. Dribbles from Death Gun, looking for that barrier. Retry now dribbling up, but the expanse is brutal. The Twin Drive might have been a little too much to score against. Only Bad Players took a bit of a gamble, and now Retry is paying for it.
Yeah, Feinmuck able to get the midfield place here against Mr. Incredible. Mr. Incredible having to burn some cooldowns. Retry going for that snipe yet again, just barely misses the timing on it, and now up to Feinmuck, but through to Retry. Retry using the cooldowns, grabs the core flip, but the Twin Drive Atlas is able to block it yet again. Missile prop ult comes out from Jewish Asian, able to keep the play on the bottom of the field, but it gets around anyway. Death Gun, whiffs the strike, almost had an opportunity there, and almost Asher momenting Jewish Asian, but able to get it around in the end of it all. And Retry and Mr. Incredible both making blink plays to keep it around, and a nice strike into the bottom just secures it against Winter Freezer. 1-1 in the set.
Really, really well played from Retry at the end, but Winter Freezer, the defense has been so much better than the past few sets. Of course, a lot of that is just a Twin Drive, but their striking, their primary usage has been cleaned up quite a bit. I feel like they're really warming up in this game, getting used to the offense coming out from Only Bad Players, but unfortunately, they own barrier here, and if Retry wins a strike war just like that, both barriers go down. They're still keeping the core contained, though. I really like how Death Gun didn't let the core go backwards after, but it still goes backwards anyway. The flip to KO Winter Freezer. Now, it is a huge power play for Only Bad Players, but with 2 whiff flips on the core, it's not looking too good, as Death Gun gets the barrier, looks to make this reverse power play goal. Flip up from Jewish Asian is forced. Winter Freezer is back, and despite the KO on the goalie, they're unable to convert.
Yeah, I think it was one of those scenarios where, sometimes we joke about how when teams go up a player in their power play, they get a little lax. I actually think they got a little too nervous and started burning their flips almost incorrectly. Retry thankfully getting the KO with the flip, but I think the intended portion of that flip was to flip in front of the goal, as Feinmuck used their flip to get the barrier, and Death Gun tries to get the double with their core flip, but just barely misses the timing and is able to get around. Jewish Asian burning the Tofu Fortress as Retry comes up forward. Mr. Incredible trying to make the snipe, but Estelle primary not quite that long, unfortunately, Saya.
Yeah, a lot of whiff flips this game. The team is trying to shake off their nerves right now, trying to not get too ahead of themselves. An amazing snipe from downtown by Mr. Incredible. That's an Estelle main angle right there, as now Retry has the blink, has the flip, sends to the top side. Mr. Incredible follows up, and those are the plays that you need to happen against a goalie like Atlas. You need to layer the pressure, and Only Bad Players, only good plays in that round so far.
Yeah, certainly the most savable goal there, Saya, as every red line heading in Winter Freezer's direction secures the goal. Retry CX really showing the power of the Perfect Form Zintaro, and as well as Perfect Form Quick Strike. So not only does the Zintaro have all the cooldowns in the world, but also has as many core flips as he could really muster. Oh, Jewish Asian, unfortunately, the Timeless Creator coming to work against him here, as Winter Freezer holding it down, but struggling to compete against all the cooldowns of Retry CX, and Mr. Incredible's great midfield play.
Yeah, and as you said, so many red lines heading towards Winter Freezer, especially in that barrier take. Now retry, a chance for redemption, flip available. This could be the one to send them to a set advantage here. Not just a set advantage, I'm sorry. Just a win here. Retry now, dribbling forward, looking to blink forward. Mr. Incredible in position. The Air Tornado blocks for now, but retry is lurking on the bottom side. All it takes is one slip up from the side of LP Thieves, and this core flip could mean the end of it all. Retry now, sending it forward. Death Gun trying to get it past the Tofu Fortress, but the missile propulsion. Oh, what a primary. But will it be enough? The expanse is there. Stalls it out for now. Fine mucked. Still a great shot by Retry, but it sends it around the world. Flip by Jewish Asian to the top side. Still saved by Winter Freezer. Retry is there. Has the abilities. And it will be the follow for Mr. Incredible as well, helping out as this Centauro in a close set will secure the goal.
Yeah, it was just as you said, Sion. Just take this. I mean, who cares if Atlas gets Twin Drive if we can just throw every red line in the game at him every few seconds? So, I mean, what is he going to do? The Twin Drive doesn't decrease the cooldown of the ability that much to compensate for all the pressure that Only Bad Players is able to put. And taking it over LP Thieves, the NASA level players, very good showing from Only Bad Players here. Mr. Incredible just being incredible in the midfield, leading the redirects, leading the shots, and just being able to be there for Retry CX whenever the Zentaro was able to dump abilities. So was Mr. Incredible with either a primary or an ult, Crystal Thorns to secure goals. Three goals for Mr. Incredible with 4 assists means that they were able to take advantage of Winter Freezer's inability to keep up with all the pressure.
We're heading to the losers final as Marissa Kills Tricky 3 awaits Only Bad Players. It's a bit of a shame that LP Thieves were taken down at 4th here. Still a great placement, but I would have liked to see the lore rematch versus Quest Esports for that grand final spot. Unfortunately, it is not the case here.
Very unfortunate, Sion. But I will say, Marissa Kills Tricky's team did incredibly well in the Swiss bracket, the ladder bracket, or not really bracket, but the ladder. Even taking a game off of Hamster Quest, or not Hamster Quest, but Quest Esports. And their play today has been kind of off the charts. Generally known as good players, Killmonk, Marissa, and Tricky. Marissa being kind of an OSAS star, almost 1v9 on forward Kai in OSAS. Showing up here with Tricky and Killmonk, and they've been really putting on a great show, and which is interesting because Marissa tends to get around 90-ish ping, 80-ish, 90-ish ping to the usual central servers that these games end up on, and still able to take advantage of their midfield play and give it to Killmonk, who has been playing absolutely out of his mind today. Already a good player and has just been setting up incredible plays with their Juliet. So I'm interested to see if Only Bad Players actually tries to ban Killmonk's Juliet as opposed to the typical ban that seems to go against this team, which is Marissa's Juno.
Yeah, unfortunately a bit of a ping situation. We have players from like all 4 corners of North America in this game. So unfortunately, someone's going to have a little bit of suboptimal ping. I think the ruling here is Denver. So that is where we're going to be as the teams will do the map pick ban.
Yeah, I'm mousing over this ping. Almost the entire lobby has the yellow bars to Denver. We really are playing on the entire continent tonight, Saya.
Yep, and the bans come in. The first ban is Inkies, of course. We'll have graphics for this soon, probably ready for like the launch pads and the liftoffs, but it's still early. It's just arcade, you know. It's not the highest stakes. But I see a lot of people talking shit in chat, okay? The players here are still better than you. Some people are yapping a little bit. These players gap you, like, on the regular, you know? There's some names that I'm looking at chat that are trying to be... Why is it always, like, the incredibly mid players that are toxic in chat, by the way? You know? Anyway, let's move on.
Well, it's usually the mids that end up staying mid because they can't wrap their heads around them being mid. But I'll stop streaming.
All right, more bans have come in. The first ban was from Only Bad Players, right? It's 1-2-1. Inkies is gone. Then Marissa Kills Tricky 3 has taken Clarion and Night Market off the board, so we'll not be seeing another Night Market. That's an early Night Market ban, and the remaining are Atlas and Oni. Maybe we'll see the first Oni in a while.
Maybe the Battlefield Final Destination might be toppled for once. But with everyone on ping, Saya, I don't imagine it's going to go to Oni unless they have picks that they want to use against one of the teams, which I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Oni Village, notoriously slow core speed and notoriously great when you have bad ping to it of a map.
Whoa, we have to cut down the sarcasm a little bit. But yeah, Oni is banned here, of course. Also, especially because only bad players have the last pick here, and Juno is famously good on Oni Village, right? And so is Kai Forward, and well, Marissa's pretty comfortable on that map then.
Yeah, I know me and Marissa have talked about Oni Village, but I forgot exactly what their opinion was on the map. But generally, their midfield pool tends to favor Oni Village, having a lot of characters that can be everywhere all at once and have so much global presence that it's difficult to play around. As we get into the game here on yet another Atlas Lab.
Yep, and this is like... Everyone, this is the final game start where you can expect peace and quiet from the Discord, because whichever team advances, I will be pinging at everyone, because it's, you know, it's a canon event. It is Will Quest Esports take their win. But it's not about Quest Esports here. It's about who's going to be facing them. As Tricky3, Killmonk, and Marissa, these players from... They've been waiting in the losers final for quite a bit. The lower side of the bracket has been held up a tiny bit because it was kind of desynced. The amount of teams in this top cut was a little awkward. But they will have the obvious ban. Mr. Incredible, you're a bit too incredible on the Estelle. It's taken away.
Yeah, and like I was mentioning earlier, actually taking the Juliet away from Killmonk in this case. Not sure if that's a awakening idea or possibly just not wanting to have to deal with Killmonk's pressure. Killmonk just playing again out absolutely crazy today, and we might actually see a now pick here from Marissa, because Marissa has been really not only liking but grinding the now, and I would not be surprised if this is locked in. Yeah, a now pick from Marissa. So I think this is the first now on stream for this tournament, correct?
I believe so, yeah. That's pretty great. That's pretty great. We'll see how it plays, because now it's still an early character, and honestly, I think a little awkward to play in the forward positions. Like, it's a little weird. So I'll see how they do.
Yeah, and I'm a little interested that Marissa opted for now with a Demolitionist start when something like Kai actually sees likely better barrier pressure and barrier snowball from a Demolitionist start, as they get the first barrier here against only bad players. Mr. Incredible already very low, now actually has a fair amount of damage in her kit, as well as the healing, so can actually be pretty decent, not only against kill comps, but as part of kill comps to maintain additional pressure in stagger pools. Mr. Incredible able, despite being low stagger, able to get that first barrier. A little bit slower of a game now that not everyone's on peak performance. As Jewish Asian passes to Mr. Incredible, all the ults coming out, everyone's level 2, all the abilities, and no barriers taken on either side. Marissa dribbling down the field, using Now's advantages of not only speed, but area denial, and able to play this midfield against Mr. Incredible, and Tricky making some good plays to get it out, but it's all over the place right now, Saya.
Oh, but a great primary forces the core through with the flip. And now it's all up to Marissa, top corner. Great flip, little hesitation. And there's not much that you can do there as Jewish Asian, as Marissa kills Tricky3, looking to be the ones to return to that grand final to get another shot at Quest Esports. But it's still early. We'll see how this now scales, as you've been saying, Marissa using that speed buff to some great potential, using it like a pseudo era buff, buffing both teammates and kind of just playing that way.
Yeah, Marissa's very good at not only using the secondary to speed buff, but also as an additional strike opportunity. Basically a large AoE strike like a Rasmus secondary. So now with the Rasmus, actually having effectively 2 Rasmus secondaries in both speed buff and additional strike range. But retrying Mr. Incredible, able to get it past Tricky and Marissa, and nobody's in position at the top of the goal. Mr. Incredible hits it in.
A bit unfortunate. Tricky was stuck on the bottom side, and only bad players equalize. And look at the meter, doesn't have to use the flip, so Mr. Incredible has it to maybe take a barrier, take multiple barriers. Early secondary coming out from Marissa, but a spin from Killmonk will be a great conversion on the play. Mr. Incredible running in, has the flip. One barrier, not quite two. Great saves from Tricky, still making the saves happen here. As once again, it is Marissa pushing forward. Jewish Asian holding it down though, looking to send it away with the primary, and really just not having to fear any sort of KO pressure, as this now comp is so beneficial. But Tricky, unfortunately, unforced error, lets that barrier go, and only bad players just need one breakaway.
Yeah, now, interesting thing to note, Saya, is now is one of the few characters on Atlas Lab that does not care about the middle being up or down. Having the area denial to create very little plays around the black hole, but also having the speed to be anywhere on the map when the black hole's not up. So one of those characters that this could be one of her best maps, just simply because she does not care about the state of the middle. But however, Mr. Incredible being able to get the ball from Jewish Asian back down to retry, unable to make a play, retry looking a little low, Jewish Asian coming up on the top, Mr. Incredible having to, Killmonk takes the strike war, but loses the second one to Jewish Asian. Keeping it in place, Jewish Asian has to flip, and retry taken off the pitch by Tricky and Marissa. Again, now has a fair bit of damage and can apply a lot of pressure to people, and has decent knockback on her abilities to be able to secure kills. And her secondary is a near instant cast with no animation, so it's very difficult to see when it's getting placed and when you need to evade. Surprisingly good at getting those sneak kills.
Yeah, pretty ambiguous there, but Tricky has meter, and Jewish Asian has none. It's all up to Marissa now, trying to make the goal, but a great primary retry. Defended away by Tricky. Great strike timing there as Marissa dribbles around the world. Killmonk gets it into the Demon Angle pocket, but no, denied by Jewish Asian. No resources left for Jewish Asian, though, and doesn't space enough, doesn't have the elusive in time, and Killmonk. A lead for Marissa kills Tricky 3. This team looking again to just clean it up.
Yeah, Killmonk with incredible primary spacing there, but speaking of incredible, Mr. Incredible 1v9s the two barriers and almost gets the goal there with the last barrage from the Demolitionist proc. But Marissa able to dribble it up here. And now that the team has come back for Jewish Asian, they're able to make the save, but they still end up getting the barrier. Killmonk and Marissa holding it down here, keeping it on the enemy side of the field as long as they possibly can. Retry finally able to get it by, but Marissa just hands it back. Already has the secondary in place and wins the strike war with the secondary for the last barrier. Killmonk with flip and Mr. Incredible denying the flip. I'm not sure I agree with Killmonk trying to flip the flip there, but every flip coming out, Saya, as nobody has energy anymore, including Jewish Asian, who uses his to make the clear. Retry catching it and almost making it in, and Mr. Incredible hits the forward straight Lockruner straight shot Gigablast to hit it into the bottom corner there.
Yeah, and Retry actually the unsung hero of that goal. Just completely stunned Tricky up. Would have probably made it there otherwise. So great on this Zentaro for the team play, really. This only bad players team. The team play is quite incredible here as Retry in the corner, sending it back and forth. Marissa and Tricky hitting it back. This is the most degenerate gameplay of all time. And finally a primary from the Zentaro stops the madness, keeps it going, and Retry is there once again with the strike wars against Marissa. But great primaries coming out from both Marissa and Killmonk, stopping Retry for the moment. Marissa now pushing forwards, looking to take this barrier, and again more ping pong in the corner.
I almost can't stop laughing from the I think 6 or 7 times of just hitting it back and forth, because there's just no clear when you're stuck in that corner as a goalie, trying to just get it out by any means necessary, and everyone just ping-ponging back and forth. Marissa, actually gets the core flip around USation and Mr. Incredible. I don't know if they got stunned there, but either way, getting the barrier. Marissa with the dribble, baiting out the expanse, and yeah, just a incredible bait on the expanse from Jewish Asian, and is able to knock it around now that Atlas has no cooldowns. They take the first set.
That's a first pick for Marissa. What will be picked here? Maybe the hot shot, maybe the missile propulsion, maybe even the big fish for the dribbling. I have no clue, but there's the hot shot. Yeah, my first instinct was there because, well, maybe later into the rounds, those projectiles, just shooting in general with now, it just feels so much scarier with the hot shot on board.
Yeah, one thing I have heard from Marissa is she actually prefers the hot shot on now. Not only because does it make the cooldowns come up, but having that instant secondary and the primary gaining core knockback as it gets larger means that the core speed that now has is arguably comparable to Juno's at certain points. And having that instant secondary can also make for some surprise plays when hotshot is involved. The secondary has quite a bit of core knockback already, and with the hotshot in play, you can just sneak it by some people before they can even react and strike.
Yeah, the hotshot secondary seems quite nasty. Retry dribbling, getting one barrier for now. We'll see if Marissa can be truly activated here. Looks for the KO, bounced off the bumper. Mr. Incredible with retry. The crossfire is ridiculous, getting the barrier here, as the defense from Marissa Kills Tricky 3 has not been as good as their offense so far. But right now they're keeping it on the other side of the field. No, Giga Blast by Mr. Incredible. The angle does not score, but still pushes it in. The pressure forcing to flip. Tricky 3 now has no meter. The health bar is regenning though, as Marissa once again with the dribbling play to the top side, gets the barrier with strikes alone. Will have quite a few cooldowns to try and make a play here. The secondary possibly, but the center comes back just in time for only bad players. A miraculous explosion makes it so that they are the ones who take this point.
Yeah, just so unfortunate that Killmonk ran into that at the perfect time to send it just right past Tricky. And speaking again on now secondary, it's one of the few abilities that like Rasmus secondary can't be blocked by just tanking it. Yes, you can stand on the as retry actually gets taken off the pitch there by Tricky, but yes, you can actually stand on it to deny it. However, it takes about I want to say a full second to actually deny it entirely, and so if you just cast the secondary on yourself, you can't deny the secondary from exploding.
Yeah, it's a bit of a spooky ability indeed, as Marissa, we'll see if the plays come through. Whoa! What a snipe by Killmonk to the top side. Great healing by Marissa as well, but slightly out of reach for the primary of Jewish Asian now, and Marissa Kills Tricky 3, not letting that last point, not letting the miracle, gravity well, black hole, whatever you want to call it, really weigh down into their mind at all.
Yeah, Killmonk able to basically 1v3 the barrier there with a little bit of support from Marissa in midfield. Tricky just barely missing the roll and losing the barrier. Retry and Mr. Incredible unable to secure the barrier here. Jewish Asian makes a nice clear up to the top, slows down the play, and keeps it away from the barrier. Killmonk unable to win the strike wars against both. Oh, maybe. No, unfortunately is not able to get the barrier despite using their abilities. Now, Mr. Incredible loses the strike war to Marissa, but then wins the strike war against Killmonk for the pressure. Flips coming out, abilities coming out, Saya, and a bad angle just barely misses the barrier against only bad players. Marissa trying to set up the primary, denied by Jewish Asian, running into it to make sure that doesn't come back to haunt him later. And Killmonk now with core flip, no longer with core flip. Thought he could pressure with no secondary, but ended up just whiffing. And Mr. Incredible trying to use the Giga to pass it to himself. Killmonk in control. Marissa in control. Killmonk in control. Saya, I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Yeah, the core is moving very, very quickly now, and the more I notice the primary from Marissa, they're just denying it, just doesn't do enough damage to prevent that. It's the Juno problem all over again, but instead of multiple slimes, they're just a singular one that they have to avoid, and unfortunately, it just feels like Marissa is a secondary machine right now, but even though a secondary and strike machine is not exactly the most, ambiguous type of thing, Marissa is still more than pulling her weight right now. Look at that, the healing to full, getting the strikes off, and they still managed to hold here.
Yeah, I know a lot of now players complain about the projectile speed that now has, as Killmonk actually gets the barrier there against 2. But now's primary sees a lot more benefit. Tricky just barely barely mistiming that core flip against the Zentaro primary, and only bad players go up 2-1.
Yeah, what you were saying about the now primary, like, I see a lot of people complaining about the speed, but no, like, having a slow projectile is really cool. That's not the problem. The problem is people are just stepping on the creation aspect and just denying it instantly, you know?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where if you actually let it get too big, stepping on it becomes actually a liability, because with no damage, I think it does 450 at max size with no size and no damage trainings. So denying it early is actually better than waiting for it to get large before denying it, which is why she's one of the better users of Monumentalist, because not only does she get the speed from her the speed increase from the Monu doing more damage, but additionally, she gets the larger size, so it stays on the field and takes up more space. But Retry actually taking off the pitch here, despite having Prize Fighter, and Marissa and Killmonk just take advantage of the power play to secure the goal there. Oh. And Killmonk with the demon angle after the hook. Oh, what a shot from Killmonk.
Yeah, I looked over that chat. Why is Killmonk smurfing? That is such a question, because Killmonk has... The gameplay from Killmonk has been so good so far. Marissa now trying to win kickoff, but it will just go to Jewish Asian, who sends it back forward. Marissa now winning the strike wars. An amazing now primary activation there. And again, with the secondary rushing forward, looking to make a play happen here, but just tanked away this time. And we saw a little bit of something with the primary.
Yeah, and an interesting to note about her primary is it's never a light hit, even during its travel time. So you can actually use it to stun out goalies and win strike wars that way, or stun out a midfielder, instead of just setting it up as the typical triangle. Marissa using the secondary almost gets the bottom corner, but Jewish Asian barely able to make it in time for the strike, as Killmonk going to 1v3 almost gets the goal, but hit away by Retry. Going for the passing play with the core flip, but redirected back into his own barrier is Tricky's core flip. And the play is slowed down a little bit. Marissa trying to get the snipe with the primary, but unable to find it. Mr. Incredible using core flip to get it out of play. And now striking around Marissa with Retry's primary. Core flip used, but denied by Marissa. Incredible deny, and Killmonk gets the primary on the pass to Mr. Incredible, and the speed just sends it in.
Yeah, the early overtime is such a scary place to be, right? It just ticks over. The core speed changes so quickly. And now, looking into this is such a scary draft. Castellas, Timeless Creator, 1-2 punch. So many interesting awakenings available here, but Spark of Resilience, you know, incredibly overbuffed over the past few patches.
Also has to be denied, as Jewish Asian is already sitting on 2 sparks, denying the election and relegating Jewish Asian to potential secretary in the end. A little unfortunate that Killmonk actually had the first pick here, being forced to deny against the Secretary Atlas. But Marissa manages to pick up the Castellast, despite being denied Timeless Creator. Castellast, some nows love it, some nows don't like it as much as the larger Creation Awakenings, but still, basically a mini era with her secondaries is able to now speed up for much longer than the 1.5 seconds that it does in its base level.
Oh, and look at that. Marissa basically playing Arrow or Kai forward at this point, really. That speed buff is lasting for quite a good amount of time. And look at that. Marissa just going in with it. Yeah, fully activated. Maybe the Castellast is perfect for a player like her.
Yeah, Marissa loves to comment on how now is basically like more creationist Juno, and Marissa with an incredible strike. The Castellast coming into play there, having the speed to not only dribble off the bumper, but catch up to the core and strike it in before Jewish Asian can react. But one thing I do want to comment on, Saya, is Mr. Incredible is incredibly large.
Yeah, this Kai is quite sizable, winning the strike wars with ease, getting it in, and helping Retry with the stuffing on Tricky. That did not look savable at all. At the crossfire from the barrage, the blink coming in. What is even the timing on that one?
The timing is the next kickoff, Saya. I'm not sure that was very savable at all. And Mr. Incredible effectively playing midfield size Kai, which is honestly just comical to watch this enormous Kai go around as Retry gets the double barrier. And oh, was that a strike war?
Yeah, just wins the strike war off the flip from Mr. Incredible. And I think that was just a tricky error because Tricky was in front of Retry. Could have just had priority on the strike, was just a little too late to react.
Yeah, and Mr. Incredible with the great, basically pass to Retry that ended up working out. And like you said, Tricky just unable to react. Jewish Asian, almost a bad clear and almost a bad secondary into the clear, but able to get it around Killmonk. Mr. Incredible and Retry going for another double off the bumper as the Demolition proc comes into play, and Zentaro gets every cooldown back, but unable to make it as Killmonk gets a barrier here. Mr. Incredible trying to use his size to battle the speed. Oh, but they get the secondary from Marissa gets the barrier, and Retry has to flip to keep the play out of the goal.
Look at the speed coming out from Marissa, buffing them up, and now Killmonk in front of the goal, winning the strike wars. Mr. Incredible to the top side with Marissa's primary, but it's not quite enough here. Killmonk to the bottom side. Marissa covers the top. Retry is not quite there to catch the clear, and it's 2-2 potential match point for Marissa kills Tricky 3.
Yeah, Demolition size actually helping Marissa there be able to just reach by Retry and get that strike for that goal. Retry getting kind of beat up by the double secondary damage from Killmonk and Marissa and the center, having trouble keeping their stagger bar up as the Atlas ult has to come out now. Marissa dribbling off the side, keeping it on their side of the play, trying to find an opening in the defense, but Jewish Asian not letting that happen as Retry comes with all the abilities, gets the first barrier, and now it's back in a 2v1 against Jewish Asian, who has to flip to prevent that scary situation from happening.
Yeah, it's looking a little dangerous now. Marissa has flipped. Killmonk working on one retry. Great attempt, but leaves themselves a little too vulnerable. They are taken off the map. Killmonk has a ton of meter. Marissa's pushing in, but Mr. Incredible with the size, with the strike war wins. Sends it forward for now. So much stalling. 2 seconds left on the death timer. Mr. Incredible, though, taking so much chip damage. We said a lot about the Rasmus in the past. So much chip damage when you're trying to contest the Rasmus on the core, and that is exactly what Killmonk does. Gets the KO, and now Retry is alone, but Tricky dribbled around by Retry. This Retry guy is also popping off. We talked about Killmonk, but we cannot forget about this Zentaro.
Oh, wow, and a snipe on the clear there from Retry. Just like the previous game, secures them their first set, and this could be the start of a comeback for them, Saya. Zentaro, known scaler, still has the access to tempo swing. Unfortunately, not on this draft, and Twin Drive is up. I will say that I know that Marissa very much favors Twin Drive on now, not only for the healing but the secondary. Yeah, so I don't think it was possible to deny Twin Drive from, or allow Twin Drive to fall there, as Marissa very much favors the Twin Drive. Like you said, arguably being a strike and secondary bot, having the Twin Drive just means that now can just make even more crazy plays and more surprise, as it's very difficult to keep track of 2 cooldowns at once.
Yeah, and it's so like oppressive, right? Has the hotshot, has the demo, has the Twin Drive. So many cooldowns will be used, and with that buff from the cast to last, these secondaries are going to have so much uptime from Marissa, but right now taking a lot of damage. Tricky forced to be the savior here, try to make the saves, but it will just be slipped past now. Retry into the bottom side, unable to do so. Killmonk, Retry still winning the strike wars. Marissa so low, will be taken out here. Cannot elusive, has no bar to work with. Once again, Retry. Oh, so many missed flips though in these past few games, as Mr. Incredible still pushing forward, winning the strike war. Still saved by Tricky, but Mr. Incredible is there for the follow-up. And despite the 2-1 deficit, only bad players still alive, not even close to dead right now.
Yeah, and as somebody in the chat pointed out, I was actually paying attention to Mr. Incredible here, picking up the nice edge and letting Jewish Asian have the prime time. Well, not letting, as Jewish Asian was the first in that draft. But the only thing Mr. Incredible was lacking was speed. Kai with no speed awakenings isn't necessarily the fastest character in the game, but now that he has size and the speed from Nice Edge, it was actually a kind of high IQ pickup, because now Mr. Incredible has not only the size but the speed to keep up with these incredible speedy plays from Marissa and Killmonk.
Yeah, it's a little bit like weird, right, how it interacts, because you would expect it to go from the center of the player model, but no, the interaction with Knife's Edge is that if you're bigger, you trigger it from farther away, and that synergy with Mr. Incredible means that he can stay completely safe while benefiting from the speed. And look at that, so much speed just catches up to the top side of Tricky, gets the second strike there. No clear angles available when you're against a Kai the size of Dubu.
Yeah, and who needs the secondary when you're just fast all the time? Knife's Edge tracks from the edge, no pun intended, of the character model. So Mr. Incredible having triple size means that the range of Knife's Edge is actually a lot farther than it looks. But Mr. Incredible getting kind of beat up by the constant chip damage from both Now and Rasmus secondaries here. Having to get the ult healing from Jewish Asian. Jewish Asian making a great clear across the way. Slowing down the play, keeping it away. But look at the speed from Mr. Incredible. Knife's Edge, an incredible pickup here because Rasmus, while he can secure kills and do damage, his kill pressure against non-staggered targets is very, very low. But unfortunately, when you're staggered like Retry, you get killed by the hook. And now Killmonk, Marissa looking for a play here. Power play. Jewish Asian clearing along the goal line, but Killmonk able to find the strike despite getting stunned by the primary. And 1-2 in the set.
Okay. So I'm gonna do a little bit of chatting here. Okay, it's still early in the round. It's still kickoff, so I'll take my liberty to do some chatting. Knife's Edge is basically Oni Village on every map. Okay.
It's better Oni Village, Saya, because you get it in the goal box and the bumpers.
But okay, it's better Oni Village on every map. When are we getting the Awakening that's Inky Splash Zone on every map?
You just carry a large cannon around with you?
Carry a water cannon.
Does it slow you down, or is it just a constant water cannon?
I have no clue, but I'm sure Odyssey Interactive has some good ideas. Because, you know, as the saying goes, players... Oh, wait a second. I was about to chat, but what a stop by Retry. The hook from Killmonk doesn't pull it out enough. The KO comes through, and they send us to a set 5.
Yeah, I think even if the hook pulled it even farther, the KO from the Zentaro Ultimate allows the flip to have no contest to hit it in for basically free. And now Tempo Swing is available. Killmonk might be forced to keep this away from the Zentaro to prevent of just overflowing damage. But now Zentaro gets Fighter Flight or Super Surge, both incredible awakenings. And the biggest pickup here, I think, Saya, is the quick strikes on a triple size Kai. How do you get around that now?
Yeah. This is quite possibly one of the craziest combinations for Kai. Look at that. Mr. Incredible could very well just solo carry this game while Retry stopping in the bottom corner. Look at that. Mr. Incredible slowly moving up the field, but kind of stuck in the middle a little bit. They're kind of playing keep away quite well, but no, Tricky, the steppy roll. With the second steppy on the mic right now, but the bottom barrier will miraculously be saved, be dribbled around, but Mr. Incredible with the quick strikes, with the speed, still sending it forward, but Killmonk somehow is the one to get priority on the core. Retry has flip, but they're still so far away from the barrier on the left side.
Yeah, Mr. Incredible playing position as though they're a normal Kai, but I think if they can make the adjustment to the side, oh wow, Retry just gets deleted from existence by, I don't even know what exactly got him there. But if Mr. Incredible can take even more advantage of the nice edge size, almost getting the barrier with the barrage there, but just barely missing, and Killmonk having to flip. If they can take advantage of the speed from Nice Edge more to navigate the edges of the field while Retry takes the more center stage portion, I think they'll see even more success than they're already seeing. Oh, but they lose the barrier to a strike war from Killmonk. And Marissa and Killmonk pushing up and down the field, but Jewish Asian able to clear it out against them. But how do you win against quick strike size Kai? And Marissa does find the strike core, but Jewish Asian able just to find the clear. Very little pressure on him when Marissa and Killmonk don't have the secondaries to speed down the field after trying to clear. And Mr. Incredible finds the second barrier, finds the strike core, not quite getting around Killmonk. Jewish Asian's Expanse sends it to the stop. Retry it, looking very... Oh, what a dash! Able to get it past Tricky in the bottom corner for the goal.
What a dash. What a find while being staggered, right? Retry was at no stagger. And as long as Mr. Incredible can make the play here, can send it forward, gets the barrier raw, trades it for one on the other side with the balance. But look at that, Mr. Incredible continuing to try and find the lane. Tricky's Tofu Fortress will be an invaluable resource against this Kai who Giga Blasted, doesn't even dribble, doesn't even need the strikes, as the great res comes out from Jewish Asian. The Dubu tank emote, quite happy about that one. It was right on time to save Retry, and now Killmonk sends it through, looking to get it past the Expanse, still unable to do so. Marissa with the great secondary. manages to get the barrier. Both goals are open, but Mr. Incredible retry, trying to send it through. The flip from Tricky redirects it to the top side, but retries in position, has the primary, the staggered pressure, and only bad players are just 1 goal away.
Yeah, I'm curious if Killmonk and Marissa are going to try and adapt to Mr. Incredible not being as incredible in the middle of the pitch, and trying to keep the play in the middle as much as possible to prevent the nice edge from kind of taking over. Mr. Incredible and Retry able to combat the speed now against Marissa and Killmonk, as they have more than fully scaled late into the stage, almost getting the barrier there with the Giga, but Tricky is able to clear it with Marissa. As the pressure comes down and Mr. Incredible flips to keep the pressure away, but it comes just right back and misses the goal barrier, Saya.
Yep, and now big chance for Marissa kills Tricky 3. They need to convert here, but look at that. Retry sends it forward, has the flip available, gets 1 barrier, would have liked 2, but will take that in the reverse power play. As Mr. Incredible, the massive Kai, is down, but Jewish Asian looking like a bit of a hero, making the saves, winning the strike wars against Killmonk despite all of the speed, has the expanse ready in time, and now it's Killmonk looking to get the barrier, but still the strike wars are won by Mr. Incredible and Jewish Asian. They're getting it out of there as Marissa gets the flip, gets the barrier. Opportunity for Marissa kills Tricky 3. Will they be able to convert is the question, as Mr. Incredible is still holding it down. Great primary from Jewish Asian. Marissa looking to make a play here in overtime. Still sent away by Mr. Incredible and Jewish Asian. They're holding on. The double goalie setup is sending the core away, but Killmonk in the corner tries to get the strike, but is slightly late on the trigger, and it will be sent away yet again by Jewish Asian. The Tofu Fortress might not be what Tricky wants, as Mr. Incredible trying to dribble it up, but again the pressure is disappearing. Oh, flip forced out by Marissa's slow primary, but still it's looking so scary for both teams here.
Yeah, and the play is moving so fast that I know Jewish Asian and Mr. Incredible want to deny. Oh, was that a strike from Mr. Incredible to hit that in there? I did not see exactly what hit that.
I think it was Killmonk. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to go back to the replays, but the follow-up by Killmonk sent it just in time to get past the expanse. And this this 5th set is quite intense here. Retry taking so much damage, has to use a special to survive, but is taking more damage still. Tricky looking for the log even as Killmonk sends it forward, and again the chip damage coming out from this Marissa kills Tricky 3 squad. The Now and the Rasmus, the cannon duo is just so good at the chip damage.
But Retry, despite being low stagger this whole time, still able to find the abilities, find the hits, find the strikes, find the dashes for these barriers. And now they're in a match point situation against an open goal. Mr. Incredible has a flip. Retry able to keep it away from Killmonk and Marissa. Pressure in the top corner now, but able to clear it away from Mr. Incredible. And Mr. Incredible showing patience here. Oh, but an incredible flip from Killmonk is able to get it around the defense of Jewish Asian. And a great ult from Jewish Asian saves Retry in the goal of the enemy team. Now the play's on their side of the pitch.
Looking a little dangerous now. The core speeding up. It is overtime after all. The flip available for Retry. The blink forward. And that is enough to take it for only bad players, despite it looking a little scary. Despite Marissa on the Now pulling it out, still it is not enough to overcome this squad, and Retry will be the player that surprises us the most this tournament.
Yeah, Retry just arguably, despite getting kind of tossed around that game, putting on somewhat of a clinic. Just despite being effectively the ragdoll of the secondaries between Tricky, Killmonk, and Marissa, is still able to find the abilities, like I was saying earlier, find those barriers, find those openings with Mr. Incredible on the enormous Kai, feeding the core as much as possible, and just finding these goals that truly mattered in the end. Having to score all 13 possible goals to win the game, but still making the plays where they needed to. Yeah,
and by no means did Marissa kills Tricky 3 play bad at all. They played incredibly, but when both teams play so well, it really just comes down to who manages to get the clutches in the end, and it was the combination of Retry and Mr. Incredible that just were better at closing.
Yeah, I mean, the one problem with now, I think, is her ability to secure goals is quite weak, even as a midfielder. And despite having surprise secondaries and being able to snipe with primaries, that's really all she has going for her. She doesn't have that very clear, obvious stuff potential outside of secondary on top of the goalie and the core. But the position has to be so perfect for that to work that it's almost never going to actually happen. So really, you kind of have to play tricks and bait abilities, hit strikes around people, make passes with now, as opposed to just being able to kind of hit it in the general direction of the goalie and hit buttons like somebody like Zentaro or Asher or Juliet can do. So I think Now's weak sides actually came out to bite them in the end in that game, despite Marissa taking over in the early stages when they had the speed advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will definitely be an interesting matchup to watch them go against Quest Esports, who have been waiting in the winner side of Grand Finals. Only bad players, after that hard-fought game, we'll have to face an even greater foe.
Yeah, and even Marissa saying in chat that they just didn't adjust to knife edge speeds fast enough, trying to keep the play away from the edges, away from the ability for that Kai with relatively little speed. But knife's edge does make the pitch quite small when you're only trying to play in the center of it all. And it's very difficult to score outside of open goals from the center. Those barriers on Atlas notoriously difficult to find sometimes without proper passing plays or just shoving it into the corner that's hard to clear out of. So, an unfortunate loss for Marissa's team, as they were playing very well. But now I think we're going to get into Quest Esports versus Only Bad Players Grand Finals. Now, is this best of one, Saya?
It's best of one with reset, so technically also best of three with advantage, but reset sounds cooler. We've been over this, right? We have this exact conversation.
Best of one with reset. But the reset is much cooler, Saya. Much cooler. It's kind of anticlimactic to already have a game and then, oh, I guess it's just over after one game kind of thing. Whereas the reset, the team that makes that reset and puts both players on the loser side of the bracket is just much more hype.
Right, but the map pick should be coming in soon, and I've mentioned it so many times, right? But this is a historic moment. This is a canon event. Will Quest Esports break the curse?
Did you already add everyone, Saya?
I'm doing it right now. Well, actually, no. Let's wait until the map pick ban comes through, so we can
oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So people don't leave after they see us waiting.
Yeah. Will Quest Esports, Toasty Local, Switch SSB, Hamster Quest, the current Quest Esports roster, will they break the curse? Will it finally be the Arcadian that Quest Esports takes to break their unfortunate curse of just barely not making it each time? And standing against them right now is Only Bad Players in Jewish Asian, Mr. Incredible, and Retry CX, showing us play that we just really weren't expecting. And we did briefly mention it, but Retry CX, honestly, kind of a shining star on this team. Jewish Asian making crazy clears. Mr. Incredible, just incredible. I mean, I'm saying that word a lot tonight, but he truly is an incredible player. But Retry CX has shown some amazing plays on the Zentaro, right? Having no stagger for arguably a third or half of that last game, and still able to find the goals, find the abilities right where they needed to be. And then the game prior, finding the snipes against the clears against Winter, I forgot the rest of the
Freezer.
Name. Winter Freezer. Finding the snipes against the clears, really just showing us what they're capable of here on a name that I personally have never seen before. So this should be actually a very exciting game we're going to get into.
All right, the map pick is coming down to either Night Market or Clarion. If I'm Only Bad Players, let's go! They pick Clarion!
It's a Clarion map! It's finally not Oni's, Atlas or Night Market. And this is Only Bad Players picking Clarions, correct?
Yep.
This is interesting, right? Because Clarion is not one map, but technically 5 maps in one. And each map benefits certain strikers more than others. So depending on your composition of strikers, you could run into a map where you kind of just get mowed over because you don't have the ability to deal with the map's gimmick. And then on others, you could shine. Like imagine, let's say, like double midfield on Clarion, right? In the bounce house, as we love to call it, the one with the pinball bumpers. Double midfield goes pretty hard on that. But double midfield on what's effectively side streets is not nearly as strong.
All right,
So-
we're loading in right now. Clarion for the first time on stream in this tournament, and it's Quest Esports. In Grand Finals winner's side, will the curse be broken as we head into the draft?
I don't know, but this map is notoriously good for brawlers. So I imagine that any bans here are going to be targeted towards certain brawlers. And we might even see Zentaro from Retry CX banned here. I would not be surprised if that's the case. Or they might just double no ban. Oh no, we have the Atlas and the Asher ban. Interesting.
Yeah.
Is the Asher bug still in play?
No. I think they're just banning attributes they don't want. They fear it potentially coming out from Switch, but Switch is just as comfortable, if not more, on this Juliet here, as we are. This is just comfort coming out from the side of Quest Esports, and only bad players too. Look at that, the Zentaro, the Estelle left up for Mr. Incredible, in favor like. They banned the goalie, but they can just play Duke. But I feel like Mr. Incredible is going to have a very good time in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Jewish Asian, I've played with them a lot. They do not care which of the two defensive goalies they play, Dubu or Atlas. A little bit more comfortable on the Atlas, but it really doesn't make much of a difference for the player. So effectively, comfort picks coming out. What'd you see, Saya?
I know why they banned the Asher now. It is a tempo swing
Tempo
start,
start.
but it doesn't matter because the user of the tempo swing, the user of tempo swing retry, CX, mix them up with Loki and B, the word with 2 letters at the end. It's a little bit confusing, but retry CX with the tempo swing, and they don't want Switch getting that tempo swing Asher.
Yeah, and funny enough, I actually think this is probably one of Aimi Goalie's better maps because her turret can actually deny things like these speed gates, things like the side clears on the Atlas Expanse map, and the one with the buff orb in the middle. But the Aimi Goalie coming to bite them here against the Estelle and Zentaro pressuring the Aimi Goalie.
Yeah, it's all to Mr. Incredible to help defend here. Gets the strike against the core flip. Manages to hold on for now. Retry now, looking to snipe it out. Looking to get a dribble. Unable to connect the primary. Now it's looking scary. Hamster Quest cannot connect with the core here. Switch trying to get the crossfire, but it's blocked away by Jewish Asian. This goalie has held on so well so far in this tournament. Mr. Incredible now trying to put some pressure on. Hamster Quest trying to get it through. Retry has flip available. Flip sent through the other side. Glitch Pop will defend it. Switch in position, but a great roll by Jewish Asian. Has to be so careful. No meter left, about to fall, but still manages to get the clear. Has to walk forward, swaps back with Mr. Incredible. The flip wasted, and Mr. Incredible forced to be on the defense, but retry KO's Hamster Quest, but it doesn't matter as Switch gets a shot to the bottom side.
Switch with the punch in the midfield, just able to send it in past Jewish Asian. And now we get to switch maps here, going to the Obscura Pools map. And for anyone that doesn't know, if you get staggered, the Obscura Pools do damage to you when you step in them. And if you happen to get staggered in them, you are actually slowed down so much that you might as well just be out of the game. And if you don't have a dash or a way to get out, you get stuck. But Switch and Hamster Quest getting effectively a double barrier on this map. And now with an open goal, threatened to go up 2-0 in this set.
Yeah, and retries to be so careful. If they're sent to the death zone on the Narrows bumpers, then it will be so hard for them to get out. They'll be forced to burn meter, forced to stall so much time there. But Hamster now taken low, taking so much damage. If they can knock Hamster there, that could be a huge advantage, but unable to do so far. Great plays from Toasty Local to keep the core up. They have to be so careful on the defense here as Mr. Incredible's taking a lot of damage. Retry burning through a lot of health, trying to get through. Mr. Incredible trying to force Hamster Quest in the zone, but still unable to do so. Toasty Local and Switch, the amazing blink in with the turret and the dash punch. And Quest Esports are looking to take this first set in clean 3-0 fashion.
Yeah, just a great blink in from Toasty Local with the turret. As a goalie on that map, you want to try and keep it away from the pools because it's a little tighter of a clear than the open side. And Toasty Local taking advantage of that, blinking in, getting the turret down, secures the goal. As we're now in the what a lot of the pros tend to call the bounce house. These side bumpers speed up the core and players that get knocked into them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a chaotic map. Definitely prefer it over the funnel of beta, but Jewish Asian looking to be pretty comfortable on this. More than expected as they block the core flip as well. Great defensive plays coming out from this Dubu. Still managing to clear it away with the help of retry here, but this will be a little bit more difficult as the layered pressure comes down on the top side with that striker advantage as well. No Mr. Incredible, but the barrier barely missed. That could have been the saving grace for only bad players, but unfortunately they are unable to do so. Now Switch in position with the dash punch, perfectly cutting off the clear for Jewish Asian, and that's the first set gone.
Yeah, that's arguably Aimee Goalie's probably worst of the 5 maps, and so I would have liked to see only bad players be able to pressure that Aimee more, but just unable to get past Hamster Quest on that comfort pick Estelle, showing why all the teams have been banning Estelle against them this tournament. And now Fight or Flight on the table with along with Quick Strike. Wow, just so many good things here for pretty much everyone. I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, to see the hot shot from the Aimee. A little surprised they didn't keep that up for the Estelle, but Estelle does get prime time, possibly? No, opting for the Spark of Resilience for the double sparks.
Yeah, it is a spark start after all. You got to get that scaling through, and it's a little bit interesting here as Mr. Incredible has a double spark. Hamster Quest has a double spark. It's story of the Estelle scaling here. But Jewish Asian will be happy with quick strikes, but not too happy with that dash punch in their face. And it's up to Mr. Incredible. Retry, jumping out from the stealth, trying to do some damage to Hamster Quest. But unfortunately, it'll not really stick around here as they're trying to get top area. They succeed. Looking for the bottom one. The layered pressure is good. Will they be able to get a goal here is the question. Switch with the dash in. Saved by Mr. Incredible. Barely the heroics coming out from the Estelle. But another bounce. Switch. The clear goes right past him. Huge opportunity for retry, the blink in, but Mr. Hamster Quest just saves it yet again. Jewish Asian, amazing evade clear. The elusive is perfect. Still getting the clear past the Julie special, and if retry, if Mr. Incredible can get a snipe here, that is all they need to start the comeback, but will they be able to do so? Switch has the flip, the bounce to the bottom side, saved by Jewish Asian, still saved by this Dubu, and continuing to make the defense happen. Jewish Asian still managing to make the saves. What am I watching? Oh my god!
Oh my god!
No way!
No way!
Is Jewish Asian the best goalie in the Mega Strikers?
Jewish Asian making an evade clear, a goal, 4 goal line clears, and blocking 3 dash punches all in 1 point, Saya. That was crazy. Mr. Incredible needs to find a new name because that was incredible from Jewish Asian to defend that and retry, finally securing the goal at the end of it. That could be a huge hit to the mental here for Quest Esports, Saya.
Jewish Asian, I still can't believe it. Still managing to make the save, still clearing it away. Great snipe by Hamster Quest, though. This version of the map is one of the more degenerate ones, right? You see the teams kind of just ping-ponging it on one side because it just blocks off so much. Oh no, the Tofu Fortress is the greatest enemy for this Dubu right now, but still winning the strike wars against Switch will not be defeated too easily, but too many resources. The striker advantage comes through, and Quest Esports continuing to try and take the victory here.
Yeah, the center on this map just really sucks to deal with when it's on your side and it gets popped. There's just nowhere to clear, nowhere to go. When it hits the center, it actually speeds up the core slightly. It's just such a awful thing to deal with for most goalies and midfielders, honestly. As Switch SSB, Mr. Incredible is not usually the forward in the net, but very difficult to deal with Julie Dash Punch as an Estelle.
And reminder that it is best of 1 with reset, so if the side of only bad players falls here, it will be Quest Esports prevailing, breaking the streak, managing to make it to a tournament victory, but it will be Retry who picks up the center. Will they be able to do something with this size?
Yeah, the size buff. Oh, that was almost the craziest save, and Switch SSB just says nope and presses the 2 Julie buttons, the funny Julie buttons, and gets the goal anyway.
When I saw that stop, my heart was not ready because I thought that Jewish Asian was going to do it again.
He arguably did do it again, and just unfortunately Switch had the right cooldowns at the right time. But Retry, trying his best to use his cooldowns to keep the center pressure going, but just gets hit around, beat up by the core flips, and but still secures the goal barrier with a great, and then secures his own death from the Julie Death Punch.
Oh, that angle was a little nasty, a little hard to deal with. as the second set, despite all the heroics, still goes over to Quest Esports. They are looking comfortable here in their trip on the winner side.
Yeah, and one more set for Quest Esports to finally break the curse, as we have basically some of the best awakenings here for pretty much everyone. Weirdly, the Chrono Boost probably being the worst of all of them for everyone here.
Yeah, great Twin Drive denial away from the IME, but the perfect form will be taken. And the triple spark. That is triple spark for Mr. Incredible, but on the less bright side, there is no agility, I believe, on Mr. Incredible, so that lack of speed is a little hard to deal with. And Retry does pick up that dash range. Oh, Mr. Incredible does have the speed. Sorry, it was Ham.
Yep.
It was the starter. Okay, wait. Never mind.
We almost had double secretary.
This might be the turnaround.
Yeah, Mr. Incredible might be able to use the Secretary Estelle to take advantage. Look how fast they are now over everyone else in the game, except when Slick Kicks is activated. Unfortunately losing a barrier there, but Retry and Mr. Incredible have a lot of pressure here with the center being popped. Unfortunately not on their side anymore. Jewish Asian dribbling, trying to keep the play away from this Juliet that has all their cooldowns, able to strike it around the dash punch and make it work, but Switch SSB secures the KO, and now it's a power play situation. And when you have an IME with eject button in a power play, it's very difficult to hold. Jewish Asian almost making the perfect save against the Juliet, but losing the barrier, and then the goal to Hamster Quest. And Quest Esports goes up 1-0 in the possibly the final set, Saya.
Yeah, and the center again. This will be very interesting to see how it pans out, to see who gets the size. Whoa, bit of a delayed start there, as some members are sort of AFK-ish, but Mr. Incredible, I think, greeting a lot. Retry getting the size, getting that boost, but own barriering double. What a tragedy, as oh, wait a second, both barriers are taken despite the KO, and the KO comes through as the flip expires. It's all up to Jewish Asian. Jewish Asian against the world manages to save it once, but Switch surely has some cooldowns here to the top side, doesn't even need them. The patience comes through, and despite everything, it is once again a Quest Esports goal.
Both teams opting to say, you know what, we don't need barriers this game, and basically giving up all 4 barriers in that round for free, but also giving up 2 KOs leads to the 3v1 and a just arguably free goal for the side of Quest Esports. Looking at match point now, Local blinking in, getting the first barrier, Switch SB with the punch and the strike for the second. Jewish Asian having to clear against them, and Retry using all of his abilities to try and get this goal barrier, but he just quite can't make it work. Jewish Asian with the Tofu Fortress leaves us very slight gap, and that does spell Jewish Asian's demise. And Quest Esports have taken their first tournament victory, Saya.
The first tournament victory in launch goes over to Quest Esports, well deserved. And you can't say it wasn't. Like, it was absolutely not the freest journey. It was not free. It was not handed to them on a silver platter. Did you see Jewish Asian that point? Like, they had to get past that.
Not only that, Saya, they actually took a loss. I think one of their only losses in ladder was against Marissa Kills Tricky, who they actually beat in winners final to make it to Grands in the first place. So it was hard fought. Like, maybe it seemed a little bit more breezy in this particular instance, but Jewish Asian holding it down, Marissa Kills Tricky taking an entire game off of them. They've really fought for this win.
Yeah, and we're going to see the clutches on the replays as well. Jewish Asian holding it down was ridiculous. Probably one of the highlights of the entire year, I gotta say. It was pretty flashy as well. And then the goal by Retry CX, of course, clutching it out, not letting the goalie out to dry. But in the end, that was the only goal scored by only bad players. Quest Esports cleaned it up as expected. And finally, the drought is over.
Yeah, I think that needs to go into like a clips file, Saya. That was just crazy. What incredible saves from Jewish Asian. And seeing that roll save again as well. I think even Jewish Asian was impressed by that roll save and just got punched to death in the end of it all.
All right, but as the replays come to a close, we'll probably be trying to get an interview with Quest Esports, and there are a lot of things to ask them, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, number one, just like, how does it feel to finally get the win? I mean, that's a little BM of me to say finally, but they did finally get their tournament victory here. Kind of the second place Masters, unfortunately, but securing the win, securing the W, finally getting the Sony Ws that have been well deserved for a long time.
Oh, and Hamster Quest just hops right in. Hello. Quest Esports himself is here. How does it feel?
Abusing my TO perms to hop right into your cast booth right here. Feels pretty good. We weren't sure if there was going to be more games past that one, so we didn't have the we did it moment, but once we realized it was good. It wasn't like overly hyped because we felt it was due, and it was like almost inevitable. Like, we're gonna get this win eventually. It's Starcade. It's Starcade 5, so it's been a long time coming, but definitely just proud of my team of being able to hold it together. Because it can be easy to just like slip up under the pressure, just get tired, and we all have jobs tomorrow, and we're able to hold it down and get the win. So felt pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So I won't hold you too long. Just a few quick questions. The first of them is Marissa kills Tricky 3. That team you suffered a loss to in the ladder stage took the run back. What's the story there?
I think that was kind of like a central adjustment. Denver is a hard server for us to play on. It actually influenced a lot of picks that Switch used to make. We used to play out Rasmus a lot, and he doesn't like it on like Central, especially Denver anymore. I forget what we ran in that game that we lost, but it was kind of close. And then we dropped some rounds, and it was just like it was just kind of over. I don't know. We're in the ladder. We kind of experiment more, so it's kind of like more likely that happens. And I don't remember anything about that game. Now that you mention it.
All right,
but yeah, happens. It was ladder. We experiment. Probably did no ban as well.
But for a game that you remember much more closely, there was that one point in this. Actually, let's just go back to the start. Before it started, you left Clarion up as one of the choices. What are your thoughts on going to this map?
Funny map.
All right. Well,
Borg's bouncy barn house map.
That one point, definitely one of the moments that will almost certainly be clipped is that Jewish Asian hold, the 1v3, the only goal that they scored, but it was a spectacular one. Like, what were you thinking in that moment?
Oh, when they scored?
The Jewish Asian basically 1v3 hold.
Oh, when he was holding.
Yeah.
I think it's like too late. I don't even remember. If we have a clip, can we bring it up? What did that happen?
Okay, so just check the stream. I'm gonna put the replays back up.
Okay.
The post tournament amnesia.
Yeah, no, I hardly remember tonight.
Wait,
let's see.
It played the last one. Okay, it should be coming up soon, but
okay. It's gonna be on delay too for me. So
yeah, it's like now, right? That was
he cleared, and then they score.
Yeah, the one where he like hit it against. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, they were like good clear. I don't know. Like when I all right.
Yeah, honestly.
Hopefully this doesn't sound toxic, but like Quest Esports literally only scrims NASL teams most of the time, and so like those were good clears, solid clears that like I would expect out of an NASL goalie. So like while I wasn't surprised, because I see it like fairly often, that was good. Like good shit. I could hold.
All right. Well, anything you want to say at the end? So, because we should probably end stream soon. It's like past midnight on Eastern.
Yep, that was a fun map. I wanted to open Estelle for the mirror to keep my tabs on Mr. Incredible's Estelle. He's definitely very good at that character. I remember, I think it was an Arcadian not too long ago that we first played against him, and I didn't know anyone on that team, and he pulled that out and impressed me. Probably diffed me actually the first time we played Estelle, so had to get that one back. And I'll end it on thanks for all the staff and the casters that put this together. I like Arcadian, fun tournament. Glad to finally be banned from it. And GG's to my two 9 to 5ers that held it down, supporting me also 9 to 5er, that will be going to work in just a few hours. So I'm gonna hit the bed. But thanks again to everyone and all the viewers. A lot of viewers today. Good on you guys. Always thank the viewers. Love y'all.
All right. Well, with that, see ya, everyone. No outro. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.